Chapter 80. Sing Hui and Erisher Yudo chatted for a while before leaving. Zhuo Yinxing dragged him to the Zhuo family's courtyard. At this time, the Zhuo family members were under protection, and their living quarters were not large. The Zhuo family members, who usually lived like princes, often shared a room with 2 or 3 people. As a result, even the large courtyards were filled to the brim. Under such circumstances, Sing Hui's entry into the Zhuo family's courtyard was immediately noticed by the Zhuo family members. "It's him," choked Sing Hui. "He still has the face to come back." "Shh, don't speak nonsense. Why can't I speak? If it wasn't for him, our Zhuo family wouldn't have fallen to such a state. We wouldn't have to live in fear all the time." "Shut up." Cho Sing Hui has already broken through to the awakening realm. Do you think it's still the same as before? Moreover, Miss Nalen doesn't care much about the rest of the Zhuo family. Even if she wants to protect Zhuo Shiri's bloodline, if you anger Cho Sing Hui, even if he kills us, Miss Nalen won't say a word. The news of him breaking through to the awakening realm is true. How can it be false? Let's go. Don't be an eyesore here. As Sing Hui walked through the courtyard, his powerful hearing allowed him to hear the Zhuo family's discussion clearly. However, just like how Nalen Fei only cared about Zhuo Shiri's bloodline, Sing Hui did not care about the rest of the Zhuo family. Under Yinxing's lead, they went straight to the residence of the patriarch, his father, Zhuo Shiri. However, just as the 2 of them stepped into Zhuo Shiri's courtyard, 4 people turned the corner and walked out of the courtyard. Of these 4 people, 2 were old and 2 were young. The 2 older ones were the Zhuo family's founding elders, Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun. The 2 younger ones were Zhuo Fengyun and Zhuo Xiangdong, who had a fierce conflict with Sing Hui and almost caused Sing Hui to be expelled from the Zhuo family. Upon seeing Sing Hui and Yunqing, Zhuo Fengxiao, Zhuo Xingyun, Zhuo Fengyun, Zhuo Xiangdong, and the others were stunned for a moment before their expressions turned awkward. Yunqing, and Sing Hui, Zhuo Fengxiao, and Zhuo Xingyun forced a smile on their faces as they greeted. "Are you here to look for the patriarch?" Sing Hui ignored the 2 and looked at Zhuo Fengyun and Zhuo Xiangdong. Although the 2 of them did not know that Sing Hui had reached the 2nd level of the immortality stage, they knew that he had awakened his bloodline. They also knew that he had killed the president of the Demon Hunters Union, many experts from the 3rd Prince's residence, and even young Master Long Quan. Now that Sing Hui looked at them, the 2 of them thought that Sing Hui wanted to settle the score. They were so scared that their legs turned to jelly, and they immediately knelt down. "Prince Sing Hui, we were wrong. Please forgive us this time. Cousin Sing Hui, we may have offended you in the past, but we were just playing around when we were young. Please forgive us, Cousin Sing Hui." Sing Hui glanced at Zhuo Fengyun and Zhuo Xiangdong, then at the frightened and reverent Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun. He said to Zhuo Yinxing, "Are these 2 still the Zhuo family's founding members?" Zhuo Yinxing did not know why Sing Hui asked this question. No wonder the Zhuo family has been unable to make a name for themselves for so many years. How can the entire family be united if these murderers can hold high positions in the family? Fortunately, I have already been expelled from the Zhuo family. Otherwise, the Zhuo family would have declined sooner or later, even with Nalen's support. Sing Hui's words caused Zhuo Fengxiao and Zhuo Xingyun's expressions to change drastically. At this time, 2 other founding members, Zhuo Xiaozi and Zhuo Feilong, walked out. When they heard Sing Hui's words, Zhuo Xiaozi hurriedly said, "Sing Hui, don't joke around. Although there are rumors that you have been expelled from the Zhuo family, this is only a joke. No one has the right to question the fact that you are a member of the Zhuo family. If you don't believe me, you can go and take a look. Your name is still clearly written in the Zhuo family's genealogy." Yes. Zhuo Feilong quickly agreed. "Xiaozi is right. Your father is the patriarch of the Zhuo family, and you are the only son of the patriarch. Not only are you a member of the Zhuo family, but you will also be the future successor of the patriarch. You will lead the Zhuo family to prosperity. Who would have the guts to expel you? Wouldn't that be dividing the Zhuo family?" As he spoke, he was still quite nervous. As early as when Tsing Hui had reached the awakening realm, the entire Zhou family had held several meetings about him. Although the Zhou family had some influence in the 100 Desolation City, it was only a second-rate family. It could not be compared to the Jin family, Feng family, or Fong family. It was precisely because of Nalan Fei's existence that the Zhou family had risen to the top. Not only had they become one of the top families in the 100 Desolation City, but they also had abundant resources, causing the number of powerhouses in the family to increase exponentially. However, Nalan Fei was only the adopted daughter of the Zhou family's patriarch. How could she compare to Tsing Hui? Now that the patriarch's son, Cho Tsing Hui, had stepped into the immortal realm, the Zhou family's hope of soaring to the top was right in front of them. The Zhou family had to grasp this opportunity no matter what. This was the unanimous decision of the entire Zhou family after a discussion. Thinking of how important Tsing Hui was to the Zhou family, Zhou Failong could not care about anything else. He hurriedly said, "Xiaozi, I think what Tsing Hui said just now makes sense. Our Zhou family should really clean up the atmosphere. Those who have no ability but still sit in their positions should be expelled from the core circle of the Zhou family. This matter should not be delayed. Let's hold a meeting immediately." Founding Elder Failong is correct. The Zhou family is no longer the small family it once was. It really does need to be cleaned up. Zhou Xiaozi understood what Zhou Failong meant. He hurriedly nodded in agreement. After saying that, he turned to Tsing Hui and said, "Tsing Hui, you are the son of the patriarch of the Zhou family and the future successor of the patriarch. In the future, the entire Zhou family will be handed to you at the helm. Come and listen to this meeting and give us some suggestions." Tsing Hui originally did not want to have too much to do with the Zhou family. However, when he saw the joy in Zhou Yunqing's eyes and thought about the fact that his body came from Zhou Shiri's son, Cho Tsing Hui, after a moment of silence, he finally said, "Let Yunqing listen. Her cultivation has already reached the blood transformation realm. She can be considered the strongest person in our Zhou family. She has the qualifications. Just tell me the final result of the meeting." Zhou Xiaozi and Zhou Failong knew that they had to take things one step at a time. They nodded and said, "Very well." As Tsing Hui said, "We will go and inform the other founding elders." After saying that, the two of them glanced at the pale-faced Zhou Hunyuan and Zhou Fengxiao. "I won't inform the rest of you. Make sure you don't miss out on the meeting." Zhou Fengxiao and Zhou Hunyuan exchanged glances. Their faces were gloomy. They understood that after the meeting, the days when they could act as they pleased with their status as founding elders of the Zhou family would never return. When they thought about how all of this had happened because of Zhou Fengyin and Zhou Xiangdong, the two of them were furious. They grabbed the two of them and beat them viciously. As members of the Zhou family, instead of working together, you bully your fellow clansmen. I'll beat the two of you to death." For a moment, Zhou Fengyin and Zhou Xiangdong screamed in agony. Zhou Xiaozi and Zhou Failong turned a blind eye to this scene and left. Tsing Hui ignored the four of them and entered the courtyard with Zhou Yunqing. With the arrival of Nalan Fei, Zhou Shiri's life as the Zhou family patriarch had become much more relaxed. Even in the face of a powerful enemy, his residence was still heavily guarded. There was even an old man in the True Qi realm who had been ordered to protect Zhou Shiri. When he saw Tsing Hui arrive, the old man sized him up with a trace of surprise. Could you be Prince Tsing Hui? Didn't the rumors say that Prince Tsing Hui was only in the awakening realm? Why, that's news from almost a year ago. In fact, if you want to have absolute authority in the Zhou family, it's very simple. You only need to. He extended his right hand and clenched his fist. Have the strength to suppress everyone from the other bloodlines. When the time comes, the entire Zhou family will naturally follow your orders as the patriarch. Chapter 81. When Zhou Shiri heard Tsing Hui mention his strength, he felt a little ashamed. "I spend most of my time cultivating. Even with the resources Yunqing and Miss Nalan have given me, I still need a year or two to break through to the blood transformation realm. When Sing Hui heard how Zhuo Shiri addressed Nalan Fei, he knew that Zhuo Shiri must feel inferior in front of Nalan Fei. This was probably why he didn't want to trouble Nalan Fei most of the time. Compared to Nalan Fei, who was blessed by the heavens, Zhuo Shiri was too ordinary. Even though he was lucky enough to become siblings with Nalan Fei, he still couldn't change the lofty image of Nalan Fei in his heart. Father, Annie and we have given you a lot of cultivation resources. Logically speaking, you should have reached the blood transformation realm long ago. Why is it that Zhuo, Xiangbei, and Zhuolangao have already broken through to the blood transformation realm, but you're still at the peak of the viscera refining realm? Zhuo Yunqing was a little confused. As the Zhuo family patriarch, I can't just think about myself most of the time. I have to think about the big picture. Xiangbei has already reached the peak of the viscera refining realm. When he came to borrow pills to break through to the next realm, I couldn't refuse. And Uncle Langao, he's our elder, someone for your grandfather's generation. He personally said that he wanted to reach the blood transformation realm to stimulate his life potential and extend his life. How could I turn a blind eye to that? So you gave him the resources that Yunqing and Nalan Fei sent you? Sing Hui asked. I did this for the stability of the family, Zhuo Shiri said. Sing Hui looked at Cho Tsing Hui. He had to admit that Cho Tsing Hui's father's personality was a little too weak. Moreover, he attached too much importance to the so-called family ties. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that the other people in the Zhuo family were treating him like a fool. However, he was bound by the so-called family ties and could not refuse. Sometimes he knew that the other party had bad intentions, but as long as his peers and elders said a few good words and begged him, he would give away the good things from Nalan Fei just like that. A father with such a personality, it was no wonder that Cho Tsing Hui had to follow behind Erisher Yudo and end up with nothing. How can Uncle Xiangbei and Granduncle Long Ao do this? Some of those resources were saved up with great difficulty, Zhuo Yunqing said with some dissatisfaction. Although our Zhuo family is known as a first-rate family, because we don't have a blood transformation realm expert, which power in Hunter Desolation City doesn't look down on us. When I saw that Zhuo Xiangbei had indeed reached the peak of the viscera refining realm, and what he said made sense, I took out those resources to help him. As for Uncle Long-O, during that period of time, his qi and blood were severely damaged. If he couldn't break through, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to live much longer. Uncle Long-O's juniors came to beg me, but I didn't want them to send their juniors off, so you showed mercy to the Zhuo family several times, but I didn't see them show any mercy to you or my brother. Back then, because of the matter with Nalan Fei, they all clamored to expel my brother from the Zhuo family. They even wanted to erase his ancestral records and self-destruct. Zhuo Yunqing said angrily. Hearing her words, Zhuo Shiri glanced at Cho Tsing Hui and was filled with guilt. I'm useless. I made you suffer. Tsing Hui shook his head. A person's personality was fixed and difficult to change, especially since Zhuo Shiri didn't have the heart of an expert. If they wanted him to be motivated and play the role of a patriarch and control the Zhuo family, difficult. I have a set of rank 2 divine weapons in my hands. It's divided into the divine weapon, the armor, and the spirit gathering jade. When you wear the armor, unless you're an awakening realm expert, no one will be able to do anything to you. As for the spirit gathering jade, it can continuously gather yuan qi of the world to refine your body and strengthen it. Even if you don't cultivate, you'll naturally reach the blood transformation realm in 3 to 5 years. If you supplement it with high-grade techniques and top-grade pills, you'll reach the blood transformation realm in half a year. As long as you have the strength to suppress the entire Zhuo family, no one will dare to be arrogant in front of you. Rank 2 divine weapon, and it's a set. Zhuo Shiri's eyes widened. I'll leave my spiritual imprint on the divine weapon. It's best if you don't let anyone else use it. Otherwise, if the sword intent recoils, I can't guarantee that they won't be able to survive. With that, Tsing Hui turned to leave. I still have to deal with Biyu's matter. I don't have time to waste on the Zhuo family's internal strife. Think about the Zhuo family's actions and carefully consider whether they're worth your sacrifice. Seeing Tsing Hui turn to leave, Zhui Yinqing hesitated for a moment. Then he said to Zhuo Shiri, "Father, I also think that some people in the family have gone too far. When you can bring them benefits, they treat you with respect. But when you don't have anything good in your hands, they immediately turn on you." Zhuo Shiri watched as Tsing Hui and Zhui Yinqing left one after another. His face was a little sad. As a member of the family, I only want to be united and help each other. Why did they? In Nalan Fei's room, she was flipping through the information sent by the Hunyuan heavenly sex Princess Lanyu. He even lent her the mysterious void armor. Peak Master Yuan Kong is too biased. Perhaps I owe you a favor for protecting me, but that doesn't mean I have to submit to you. Nalan Fei frowned. Fei. At this moment, Nalan Sheng's voice came from outside the door. Then, he and two other Nalan family spirit refining experts stepped into the room at the same time. Seeing the three of them, Nalan Fei also felt a little helpless. The feeling the Nalan family gave her was too realistic. It was a family that placed benefits above all else. There was no kinship in this family. In their hearts, in order to strengthen the family, anything could be sacrificed. Even their children, wives, and children were no exception. This was the reason why she hadn't been very close to the other members of the Nalan family all these years. If it wasn't for Baiyu's revolt this time, she had no choice but to rely on the strength of the Nalan family to fight against her. She would never have asked Nalan Sheng, Nalan Hong, and Nalan Feng, these three elders, to take action. Fei, we've already heard from Jing Yin, Yu Yang, and the other juniors. I didn't expect a true dragon to be born in a small family like the Zhuo family. Nalan Hong took the lead with a smile. If we didn't guess wrongly, this kid was able to kill the five-color dragon king of the Black Dragon Society. His chi is not simple. Maybe it's holy chi. At such a young age, not only did he cultivate to the true chi realm, he even cultivated holy chi. According to the news I heard, this Cho Tsing Hui seems to have cultivated sword intent. This is the gate to the spirit refining realm. In the future, as long as he cultivates step by step, it won't be difficult for him to step into the spirit refining realm. Maybe he'll be another genius like you. Nalan Feng, who was at the side, quickly followed up. Nalan Fei thought of the Tian Peng unhindered art that Tsing Hui asked Princess Lanyu to bring. Then she thought of the astonishing battle strength he displayed in the awakening realm. She guessed that he had indeed awakened the bloodline of a sacred beast, but understand Tsing Hui's matter. Elders, why did you mention Tsing Hui? Naturally, Fei, I've asked the Zhuo family. This Cho Tsing Hui is not married yet. Coincidentally, I have a granddaughter called Nalan Shui. I believe you've heard of her before. Not only is she a beauty, her cultivation talent is also not bad. Currently, she's in the awakening realm. I think she and Cho Tsing Hui are a match made in heaven. Nalan Sheng said. If Cho Tsing Hui feels that Shui is not suitable, my granddaughter Nalan Yu is also suitable. Although her cultivation is lower and she has just changed her bloodline, she's still young. Compared to Cho Tsing Hui, she's 2 years younger. It's just right for them to cultivate their feelings. Nalan Hong agreed. Nalan Fei glanced at the several doyens and immediately understood their intentions. The Nalan family had been able to develop until now, and the biggest characteristic was that they were willing to marry off their daughters. Although the Nalan family did not have an immortal level 4th layer expert, their influence was great. Many of their daughters were married to the elders of the Hunyuan Heaven sect and the top 100 true disciples as concubines. These elders might not do their best when the Nalan family was in danger, but they would definitely support them. Obviously, they saw Tsing Hui's talent and wanted to pull him into the Nalan family. This is Tsing Hui's own business. It's up to Tsing Hui to decide. Haha, marriage has always been decided by the parents. As his aunt, you could be said to be the closest person to him apart from his father. If you go and make things clear to him and his father, I believe he will definitely not refuse. That's right. Nalan Sheng smiled and said, compared to the Zhuo family, Our Nalan family is more than 1,000 times stronger. We are willing to let him join our family because we think highly of him. Anyone with a brain knows what the right choice is. As far as I know, Sing Hui already has a sweetheart called Wu Yuyao. It was because of Wu Yuyao that he became angry and killed Prince Long Quan, which led to a series of events. Nalan Fei did not want Sing Hui to enter the Nalan family. Once he entered the Nalan family, he might have some benefits in the beginning, but in the end, the Nalan family would definitely squeeze him dry. As she cultivated to the spirit refining realm, her value increased greatly, and she had already experienced it. How can a mere Wu Yuyao compare to the children of our Nalan family? Nalan Hong said disdainfully. However, Nalan Xing thought about what Sing Hui did to Wu Yuyao and said, if Sing Hui and Wu Yuyao have a good relationship, we can allow him to take her as a concubine, but the children of our Nalan family must be the first wife. In my opinion, Sing Hui must have seen too little of the world, which is why he was charmed by an ordinary woman. When he sees the children of our Nalan family, he will naturally not be interested in Wu Yuyao. That's right. Nalan Fei shook her head. I can't make the decision on this matter. Nalan Sheng was unhappy. Fei, you invited us to protect the Zhuo family for you, and we rushed over without hesitation. Why can't we handle such a small matter? If the Zhuo family really doesn't put your words in their heart, then why should we waste our time and energy on such an ungrateful family? It's better to just bring them back and let them fend for themselves. Go call Zhuo Shiri. If he can't speak, I'll speak to him and see if he agrees. Chapter 82. Half a day after Tsing Hui arrived at the Zhuo residence, everyone in the Luo Lin kingdom received the news. In a short period of time, the number of cultivators outside Nalan Fei's residence doubled. From time to time, one could see the figures of Saint Chao Jindao, Flying Deity Bat Yi Shuihan, Sly Assassin Tu Ying, Mirror Immortal Wang Zhe, Poison Gentleman Tong Ping Ping, and God-slaying Sword Sidu Qiu Shui. The reward of a rank 4 divine weapon was an irresistible temptation to any spirit-refining cultivator. Even if they had to offend a spirit-refining true disciple with unlimited potential, they would not hesitate. Under such circumstances, the many experts in the courtyard clearly became busy. However, what made Sing Hui puzzled was that the experts of the Nalan family who were in charge of assisting Nalan Fei subordinates had become slack in their work. They gathered in groups of 3 to 5 and were too lazy to bother with patrolling. He did not have the time to care about these details. At this moment, he had already arrived at the entrance of the courtyard. Seeing Sing Hui outside the courtyard, Bai Lansheng, Jing Yun, and the rest who were in charge of guarding the courtyard were startled. They quickly said, Prince Sing Hui, please go back and hide immediately. If you expose yourself rashly, those criminals might find an opportunity to attack the residence. No worries, I'm here to pick up one of my men. He should be here soon. But before Bai Lansheng could say anything, Yin Huang's figure had already appeared at the corner of the street and was heading towards the courtyard. Seeing Yin Huang striding over, Bai Lansheng's pupils shrank. He could not help but exclaim, Spirit-refining cultivator. The next moment, he quickly shouted, Quick! Be careful. Inform the elders. Where are the elders? Why are they nowhere to be seen? Don't make a fuss. These are my men. Sing Hui said. At this moment, Yin Huang's figure leaped and arrived in front of Sing Hui. He cupped his hands towards Sing Hui. Master. When Bai Lansheng saw this, he couldn't help but be stunned on the spot. He could see that Yin Huang was definitely a spirit-refining cultivator. Moreover, he seemed to be stronger than ordinary spirit-refining cultivators. Perhaps he had reached the middle stage of the spirit-refining realm. This kind of spirit-refining cultivator should be an illustrious and famous character, yet he actually greeted Sing Hui, who was only in the true Qi realm. Moreover, it was not a friendship between equals, but a servant addressing him as master. Sing Hui nodded at Yin Huang and led him to the inner courtyard under the surprised gazes of Bai Lansheng and the others. That lord seems to be a spirit-refining cultivator. We have 4 spirit-refining cultivators on our side. Jingyan was pleasantly surprised. During this period of time, with the appearance of Qing Su, the spirit-refining cultivators of the enemy forces would occasionally peek in this direction, bringing them great pressure. At this time, the addition of a spirit-refining cultivator on their side was a great boost to their morale. Tsinghui, you're here? Father, Andy, and several Nailin clan elders are looking for you. When Tsinghui brought Yin Huang into the courtyard, Zhui Yinxing brought a few people out. Seeing him, Zhui Yinxing was pleasantly surprised. Looking for me? Tsinghui saw that Nailin Fei, several Nailin clan elders, and Zhui Shiri were all present. He guessed that they were discussing how to deal with Baiyu. Although he had Yin Huang, a peak expert, on his side, it was difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. If he could get the help of the Nailin clan's spirit-refining cultivators, defeating Baiyu's forces and killing Baiyu would be much easier. I'll go over, Tsinghui said and brought Yin Huang to the meeting hall. In the meeting hall, Nailin Fei, Zhui Shiri, and the others were all present. At the same time, Zhuo Aolong and Zhuo Xiangbei, who had just broken through to the blood transformation realm and whose influence in the Zhuo family had nearly overshadowed Zhui Shiri's. When they saw Qing Su arrive, Nailin Hong and Nailin Feng constantly studied him. Once they confirmed that he really was a true Qi cultivator, they immediately smiled from ear to ear. Nephew Tsinghui, you're here. We've been waiting for you. You're the biggest winner of this good thing. Nailin Sheng welcomed him warmly. Good thing? What good thing? Haha, we've already discussed with your father, Zhui Shiri. I have a granddaughter named Nailin Shui. She has an extraordinary appearance and is well educated. In addition, she has also awakened her bloodline and stepped into the awakening realm. Although her bloodline is ordinary, she's good at breeding. It's not difficult for her to carry on the bloodline and strengthen your Zhui clan. When do you two want to meet to settle this matter? Zhui Shiri was a little embarrassed. He only said that he had no objections and that everything would be decided by Tsinghui. When did they reach an agreement? Tsinghui frowned. He didn't understand what was going on. Zhuo Xiangbei and Zhuo Oolong hurriedly chimed in. Tsinghui, the young ladies of the Nailin clan are very honorable. Being able to marry one would bring honor to your ancestors. Why don't you hurry up and thank Holy Elder Nailin for his appreciation? That's right. Our Zhuo clan can become in-laws with the Nailin clan. It's rare for Holy Elder Nailin to think so highly of you. Don't let down Holy Elder Nailin's good intentions. I'm no longer a member of the Zhuo clan. My matters are not for you to decide. Tsinghui glanced at the two and said coldly. He didn't have a good impression of these two people who were openly and secretly trying to take the cultivation resources that Nailin Fei and Zhui Yinxing had given to Zhui Shiri for themselves. However, Zhuo Xiangbei and Zhuo Oolong, who were used to the Zhuo clan humbling themselves in front of him, couldn't take it anymore. Their faces turned stiff. Tsinghui, what are you saying? What do you mean you're no longer a member of the Owl clan? Don't forget that you grew up eating the rice of the Zhuo clan. You cultivate our techniques, and the blood of the Zhuo clan flows in your veins. Now that you've gained some ability, you're looking down on everyone else? You don't respect us elders at all, do you? Is that so? When you insisted on expelling me from the Zhuo clan's ancestral home, I didn't hear you say that. That was just to polish you. Zhuo Oolong looked a little embarrassed, but he quickly covered it up. As the saying goes, jade can't become anything without being polished. You've been with Arisher Yudo all this time, and your great talent has been ruined. We had no choice but to use this method to stimulate your fighting spirit. It seems that this method is very effective. You should thank us properly. That makes sense. After Tsinghui finished speaking, he turned to Zhui Shiri and said coldly, From what I see, Zhui Xiangbei and Zhuo Oolong have both reached the blood transformation realm. Next is the crucial moment for them to break through to the awakening realm. Why don't you treat them the same way you treated me? Expel them from the Zhuo clan and let them work hard. This way, the Zhuo clan might have 2 more awakening realm powerhouses in the future. As soon as he said that, Zhuo Oolong and Zhuo Xiangbei's expressions changed. They immediately shouted, Tsinghui, you child, how can you say that? Yeah, How can us elders compare to you youngsters? Shiri, don't you care about your son? Shiri opened his mouth to say something, but Sing Hui knew his son's personality. He didn't want to make things difficult for him. So he said, I'm already an adult. I make my own decisions. No one can influence me. Ching Su, that's where you're wrong. Marriage has always been decided by the parents and matchmakers. Since when was it your turn to speak? Or do you want to betray your ancestors? Nailan Sheng said with dissatisfaction. Nailan Hong responded appropriately. That's right. If you, Cho Tsing Hui, really want to betray your ancestors, then your matters will no longer have anything to do with us. When the time comes, don't blame us for leaving without caring about your safety. Your life and death will be at Biyu's disposal. You can't. Elders, please calm down. Shua Shiri quickly shouted when he heard that Nailan Hong and the others were about to leave. He understood that although Tsing Hui's cultivation was fast, he was only in the true Qi realm at best. There were already a few spirit-refining cultivators who wanted to take his life and go to Biyu for rewards, not to mention the spirit-refining cultivators invited by Fairy Biyu. Once the Nailan clan's spirit-refining elders left, only death would await Tsing Hui. He quickly said, Elders, please wait for a moment. Let me have a good talk with Tsing Hui Humph. You better give us an accurate answer quickly. We don't have so much time to waste here. Nailan Sheng's expression immediately changed. Yes, I understand. Zhuo Shiri finished speaking and turned to Tsing Hui. Elders, you were invited by me. For this, I paid 3 rank 3 divine weapons. Now that the 1-year deadline is not up, how can you give up halfway? Without waiting for Zhuo Shiri to speak, Nailan Fei said solemnly, Fei, you can't blame us. Although we were invited by you to protect the Zhuo clan, others did not put us in their eyes. Can we continue to endure? That's right. Moreover, as a member of our Nailan clan, you were able to cultivate to the spirit-refining realm in a short 20 years. You have spent a lot of our cultivation resources. Now that you have some achievements, it is reasonable for you to contribute 3 rank 3 divine weapons to the clan, right? To actually talk about these 3 divine weapons, you really don't know anything. Nailan Fei frowned. All right, things are different now. Currently, Baiyu has invited 6 spirit-refining cultivators. In addition to the 2 spirit-refining cultivators by her side and herself, there are a total of 9 spirit-refining cultivators. Even if we talk about the matter, 3 rank 3 divine weapons are not enough to invite 3 spirit-refining cultivators and 9 spirit-refining cultivators to fight to the death, right? Isn't this making things difficult for us? Nailan Sheng said. In the end, he added, of course, if you contribute 6 more rank 3 divine weapons to the clan and invite 6 spirit-refining cultivators, we can continue to protect the Zhuo clan with 9 against 9. 6 level 3 divine weapons. Elders, aren't you asking for too much? Haha, even if you don't have 6 rank 3 divine weapons, the rank 4 divine weapon given to you by the sect leader is also fine. If you're willing to contribute it to the clan, I guarantee that the Zhuo clan will not suffer any harm. That's right. Baiyu has already taken out a rank 4 divine weapon to reward Cho Tsing Hui. You should also take out a rank 4 divine weapon to fight against her. It is completely reasonable. Hearing the words rank 4 divine weapon, Nailan Hong and Nailan Feng's eyes flashed with passion as they tried their best to persuade. Enough. At this moment, Ching Su suddenly called out and took a step forward. Our Zhuo family can't afford to raise the price on the spot. If you feel that the price is too high, you can leave immediately. I won't send you off. I will settle Baiyu's matter. Chapter 83. Cho Tsing Hui, what are you talking about? What do you mean by raising the price? So unpleasant to hear? Don't you know what it means to be in a different situation? You want us to fight against 9 spirit-refining cultivators with 3 rank 3 divine weapons? Why don't you try to hire experts with this price? If you can get any forces to help, I'll change my surname to yours. Those 3 divine weapons will be the compensation for your hard work. And follow me. We'll discuss how to defeat the enemy. With that, Ching Su turned around and left. Tsing Hui, don't be impulsive. Zhuoshiri hurriedly shouted. What are you doing? Without the elders of the Nalan family, how can we fight against the experts sent by Fairy Bayou? If you want to die, go ahead, but don't drag us down with you. Zhuo Xiangbei and Zhuo Aolong shouted angrily. However, Nalan Fei said nothing. She continued to stare at Yin Huang behind Qing Su as a sliver of surprise appeared in her eyes. Others might not be able to feel it, but she could. Holy rank, earth energy. She could feel the aura of holy rank, earth energy from Yin Huang. Moreover, compared to her, a cultivator who had just condensed saint-grade aura chi, Yin Huang's attainments in the spirit refining realm were much deeper. She immediately stood up and chased after Qing Su when she sensed that blazing glory and Qing Su's relationship was slightly different from that of friends. When she left the hall, her voice rang out, Elders, if the three of you really aren't willing to lend a hand, then so be it. As for the 3 divine artifacts, just as Qing Su said, they'll be your employment fee for the next few months. However, from today onwards, as long as the Nalan clan doesn't encounter a calamity that's close to annihilation, don't blame me for choosing to stand by and watch. Fei, let them go. Now that Zhuo Qingshu has returned, Baiyu will definitely launch a frenzied attack. Without the few of us to share the pressure, even if Fei Lass has the advantage of holy grade aura chi, she won't be able to resist so many spirit-refining cultivators. Seeing that Nalan Sheng wanted to keep Nalan Fei, Nalan Hong snorted. Nalan Feng, who was standing by the side, also nodded his head in agreement. That's right, we'll wait. In any case, if there are any casualties in the end, it won't be someone from our Nalan clan who dies. However, once she is unable to withstand the pressure and asks for our help, it won't be as simple as a level 4 divine weapon. I remember that when Fei went to see the sect master, other than being bestowed a level 4 divine weapon, she was also bestowed with a bottle of Wanhua Yuangang pills. Wanhua Yuangang pill. I only cultivate spirit-grade Gang Qi. If I were to consume a bottle of Wanhua Yuangang pill with my current attainments in Gang Qi, it would not be difficult for me to have the combat strength of a late-stage Gang Qi cultivator. Just you wait. Based on my understanding of Lass Fei, she will yield. Nalan Sheng, Nalan Hong, and Nalan Feng quickly reached a consensus. Feng? In another room, Nalan Fei stared at Yin Huang and said, Yin Huang, a friend of mine. Hearing Qing Su introduce him as a friend, Yin Huang was secretly grateful in his heart. At the same time, he bowed slightly towards Nalan Fei. Mr. Qing Su has done me a great favor. I have already sworn to follow Mr. Qing Su and treat Mr. Qing Su as my master. Yin Huang has long heard of Miss Nalan's genius name. Today, I have seen that it is indeed well-deserved. If I am not wrong, Miss Nalan's strength is likely not inferior to an ordinary late-stage spirit refining realm expert. Hearing Yin Huang's flattery, Tsing Hui also used an appraisal skill on Nalan Fei. However, the result of the appraisal skill surprised him. Nalan Fei, chaotic level, rank 12. Attack level, 34. Defense level, 35. Speed level, 36. Spirit level, 33. Her attributes are the same as Yin Huang's. It could be seen that the two were about the same. What really caught Tsing Hui's attention was Nalan Fei's chaotic level. Rank 12. She was 1 level higher than Dawn Leader Lingyu. Moreover, rank 10 was the dividing line between ordinary Sons of Chaos and high-rank Sons of Chaos. Nalan Fei, who was a rank 12 Son of Chaos, must have pointed out the divine art. Therefore, her actual combat strength could no longer be measured by ordinary spirit refining experts. Son of Chaos. No wonder Nalan Fei's performance was ordinary before she was adopted. However, not long after she joined the Hunyuan Heaven sect, she soared to the heavens in just a few decades and cultivated holy grade aura chi. I thought she was heavily nurtured by the Hunyuan Heaven sect, but it was actually because she obtained the primal chaos inheritance. Tsing Hui understood. At the same time, he was somewhat surprised. He did not know why Nayland Fei still stayed in the Hunyuan heaven sect after obtaining the primal chaos inheritance. Was she not afraid that the high-ranked sons of chaos of the Hunyuan heaven sect would discover the mysteries of her body? Your Excellency Yin Huang is also not weak. Moreover, your name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't recall it at the moment. Yin Huang was startled and secretly glanced at Xing Hui. Seeing that Xing Hui did not say anything, he smiled and said, "Is that so? Perhaps we have met before." I was restrained by the Sky, Origin Peak Master, and the higher-ups of the Hunyuan Heaven sect, so I could not act directly. I had no choice but to borrow the strength of the Nayland family. However, after meeting Your Excellency Yin Huang, I am relieved. If Your Excellency Yin Huang is willing to help, Bu will not only be able to threaten Xing Hui's safety, but also her own life. Miss Nayland is too kind. Let us discuss how to resolve the crisis of the Zhou family and deal with Bu's crazy revenge. Nayland Fei nodded. This is the detailed information I have collected on the experts under Bu. Please take a look. Yin Huang cautiously received the information. He knew that these spirit-refining experts were the key to solving the problem of Xing Hui. As he flipped through the information one by one, he soon came to a conclusion. Among these spirit-refining experts, the ones who could be considered a threat are the god-slaying sword Sidu Qiushui, the scarlet flame fairy Tsang Shui, and the dragon monarch Zhang Jiuxiao. Although the others have spirit-refining cultivation, they have only condensed ordinary aura qi and barely stepped into the spirit-refining realm. Otherwise, they have only been in the spirit-refining realm for a short period of time and are not worth mentioning. Yin Huang said, within the same realm, there were naturally differences in strength. If a peak spirit-refining cultivator were to fight against an ordinary spirit-refining cultivator, 1 against 10 would not be a problem. But if a spirit-refining cultivator with Saint-grade aura qi was to fight against a spirit-refining cultivator who had just condensed ordinary aura qi, not to mention 10, even 20, 30, or 40 of them would be defeated by him alone. This was also the reason why Yin Huang dared to not put the other spirit-refining cultivators in his eyes. The god-slaying sword Situ Qiushui is easier to deal with. She is arrogant and always acts alone. But the dragon monarch Zhang Jiuxiao and the scarlet flame fairy Tsang Shui, both of them have the strength of a late-stage or peak spirit-refining cultivator. I can deal with one of them alone, but if the two of them join hands, I'm afraid it will be troublesome. After Yin Huang finished speaking, he turned to Xing Hui. One of them will have to be personally dealt with by Gongzi. I do not hope to defeat him, but just delay him for a while. After I kill the other one, I will come to Gongzi's aid. Hearing Yin Huang's words, Nayland Fei's eyes narrowed. Yin Huang. He actually has the confidence to kill a late-stage or peak spirit-refining cultivator? Also, he said that Xing Hui has just stepped into the true Qi realm. Moreover, I can see that he has just stepped into the true Qi realm not long ago. How can he deal with a spirit-refining cultivator, especially a late-stage spirit-refining cultivator? Could it be? Nayland Fei looked at Xing Hui with a trace of expectation. Xing Hui, did you really cultivate holy, grade, true Qi? Yin Huang also secretly glanced at Xing Hui. Holy grade, true Qi? If Xing Hui only cultivated holy grade, true Qi, how could he have such a terrifying power? What he cultivated was divine grade, true Qi. It was because of this that Yin Huang chose to submit to Xing Hui when he was at his wit's end. Relying on a genius cultivator who cultivated divine grade, true Qi, although he would lose his freedom, but it might not be impossible for him to take advantage of the situation and soar to the sky. Xing Hui nodded and said, although I do not know the cultivation of those two, I will try my best to delay them. Wait a minute. Nayland Fei took out the rank 4 divine weapon on her. It was a divine sword. As she reached out and touched the sword, the spiritual imprint she had imprinted on the sword immediately dissipated. Because the spiritual imprint had dissipated, she seemed to have suffered a backlash. A trace of paleness flashed across her originally fair and pretty face. With this sword, your chances of winning will more or less increase. This is, Tsing looked at the rank 4 divine sword that was emitting a mysterious light and seemed to have thought of something. This is the rank 4 divine weapon that the sect leader bestowed upon me, the 9-winged cloud soaring sword. Rank 4 high-grade divine weapon. Nalan Fei nodded. The quality of the saint-grade, true chi I've cultivated is extremely good, and the sect leader is very fond of it. In addition, the 4th-ranked divine weapon bestowed by the sect leader naturally wouldn't be a low-grade 4th-ranked divine weapon. Given his status, he wouldn't be able to take it out. Hence, no one knew that this divine sword was a high-grade 4th-ranked divine weapon. If you wield this divine sword, if you use it wisely, you can even reverse the situation. Ant is considerate. I will definitely use this sword to cut off Jasper's head. Jasper, if you kill her, then so be it. Otherwise, even with the 1-year deadline from the Sky Origin Peak Lord, who knows what kind of trouble she will cause us, I will bear the consequences. At most, I will bring this matter to the sect leader. With Ant's words, I am relieved. Tsing nodded slightly. However, you have to be careful. Even though Jasper has only cultivated spirit-grade, true chi, she is still much stronger than ordinary spirit refining cultivators. Coupled with the rank 4 divine weapon in her hands, she is probably not much weaker than the dragon monarch Zhang Jiuxiao and the scarlet flame fairy Song Shui. Do what you can. I understand that. Tsing saw that Nalan Fei had lent him the divine weapon that the sect leader bestowed upon her, and was willing to go against Fairy Jasper, who was stronger than her, for the Zhua family. Even if the secret of the Primal Chaos Shrine was exposed, she would still trust him. He immediately asked the question that had been bothering him. Ant, if I am not wrong, you are the son of Primal Chaos. Chapter 84. Tsing Hui's question caused Nalan Fei's expression to change slightly. After a moment, she seemed to have thought of something and suddenly stared at Tsing Hui. You can know the term son of chaos. You're also a son of chaos. Tsing Hui nodded. No wonder. Nalan Fei sighed and was sincerely happy for Tsing Hui. No wonder you cultivated to the true energy realm in less than 2 years. I originally thought that you had obtained the inheritance of some powerhouse, but now it seems that the inheritance you obtained is even more astonishing than I imagined. To be able to become a son of chaos, this kind of opportunity is no less than being taken in as a personal disciple by a hall master or even a 6-stage longevity powerhouse. Tsing Hui nodded slightly. The inheritance of a son of chaos was indispensable for him to be able to achieve such achievements. When Yin Huang heard Tsing Hui actually bring up this question that could expose his identity as a son of chaos, his gaze was fixed on Nalan Fei. As long as Nalan Fei had any intention of revealing Tsing Hui's identity, he would not hesitate to use thunderous means to eliminate her in one fell swoop. Although, if they were to really fight to the death, Nalan Fei's combat strength was actually above Yin Huang's. You guessed right. I am indeed a son of chaos. Nalan Fei generously admitted. After that, she glanced at Blazing Glory, who was full of vigilance, and said with a faint smile, if I remember correctly, in an organization called Dawn, there is a son of chaos whose code name is Blazing Glory. Yin Huang's expression changed slightly. Auntie is trustworthy, Tsing Hui said. Since Tsing Hui had said so, Yin Huang could not hide it any longer. I am Yin Huang of Dawn. No need to be so surprised. I am from Sky Dome. Sky Dome. Yin Huang's expression changed drastically, and his gaze towards Nalan Fei was filled with a trace of reverence. Sky Dome? What's the difference? Tsing Hui asked. Sky Dome. Sky Dome is one of the most famous top-tier organizations in the Chaos Temple. Among the hundreds and thousands of Sons of Chaos in the Chaos Temple, it definitely ranks in the top 10. Yin Huang fiercely swallowed his saliva. When he mentioned the 2 words Tianxiong, his eyes were filled with yearning. The entire Chaos Temple. It should be known that the Chaos Divine Palace did not refer to the Eastern Wilderness. It included all the islands after the Divine Wilderness was destroyed. Even the Infinite Wasteland, which was the center of the world, was included. to be able to rank in the top 10 of the entire Chaos Temple. That kind of strength could be imagined. Yan Huang forcefully suppressed the shock in his heart. He looked at Nalan Fei and asked in confusion, "As far as I know, only those who have cultivated divine grade astral energy are qualified to join Tianqiu. Why? This has to do with the inheritance I obtained." The inheritance I obtained was from an almighty who had reached rank 25 in the chaos and cultivated the incarnation art. And that almighty was from Sky Dome. Nalan Fei sighed. You all know that some almighty beings like to send their incarnations to roam the continent in search of items that have escaped the net. That almighty Bei Xiao was one of them. Searching for an incarnation of an item that has carried the Tao often requires very strong psychic energy to be able to sense the location of the item on a large scale. It is precisely because of this that even though Bei Xiao's main body was suddenly destroyed, his incarnation was still able to survive for a short period of time. By chance, just as his incarnation was about to dissipate, I foresaw it and obtained his chaos inheritance. Yan Huang and Xing Hui found this inconceivable. The inheritance of a rank 25 son of chaos had inexplicably delivered to their doorstep. As expected, there was no best in a chaos inheritance, only better. It was the same with opportunities. Bei Xiao was an upper echelon of Sky Dome and had countless friends. When I obtained his inheritance and entered the Chaos Temple, because I was new and did not understand the wonders of the Chaos Dimension, I was invited into the personal dimension of the Sky Dome Lord when I obtained the inheritance, thus exposing myself. Fortunately, perhaps because Sky Dome paid more attention to fate, or perhaps because they did not know where my main body was, they did not track me down and kill me. Instead, they invited me to join Sky Dome and become a part of it. One of them, a son of chaos who was Bei Xiao's Tao companion, Zi Xiao, even took me in as his disciple and taught me cultivation. Nalan Fei's expression dimmed. Unfortunately, even though Master Zi Xiao imparted to me all sorts of methods to condense stellar energy, I, who had only awakened the Azure Luan bloodline, was unable to condense divine-grade stellar energy and was unable to obtain the approval of the others in Sky Dome. Azure Luan, this was a divine beast similar to the phoenix. Although it was classified as a holy beast, it was not good at fighting, and its bloodline was slightly inferior to that of a phoenix. But although it did not possess great fighting strength, the Azure Luan possessed an enviable hidden talent. And that was luck. This was a kind of auspicious holy beast, which was a holy beast that could increase the attribute of luck. Those who awakened the bloodline of this holy beast might not be able to dazzle others in battle, but they would often be able to obtain incredible opportunities. Sky Dome is enough to intimidate the Hunyuan Heaven Sect Master. Yan Huang said, although Sky Dome's headquarters is far away in Heaven Wasteland, if it's a mighty expert above the 25th stage of the Chaos Dimension, they can use the incarnation technique to descend upon our eastern wilderness. A 5th or even 6th stage saint expert can use the incarnation sword will alone to heavily injure the majority of experts, if they're willing to expend Yuan Qi to project their power over. Even if they're only at the 4th or 5th stage of the longevity realm, they can contend against the Hunyuan Heaven Sect. Qing Su nodded when he heard that. No wonder no one accepted you as a disciple, even though Miss Nalan has clearly cultivated saint-grade astral qi. It turns out that you already have a master. If a mighty expert of Heaven Wasteland accepted you as a disciple, the other elders of the Hunyuan Heaven Sect naturally can't interfere too much. Nalan Fei nodded. In fact, the sect master gave me a high-grade divine artifact with the intention of forming good karma. The 10 great sacred sects may also have chaos organizations or large sects behind them. Perhaps they are not as strong as Sky Dome, but the difference should not be too great. The forces behind the 10 great sacred sects. Yan Huang could not help but think of some 6th-stage longevity realm experts. Some of them were actually not weaker than the sect masters and elders of the 10 great sacred sects, but they were still suppressed by the 10 great sacred sects. From the looks of it, this should be due to a deeper background. Sing Hui glanced at Nalan Fei. Originally, if he could smoothly solve the problem of the Son of Chaos entering the 10 great sacred sects without being captured and interrogated, he could consider joining the Jin Wu religion and use peaceful methods to plot the Jin Wu religion's great Sun Golden Crow art to avoid offending this colossus. But Nalan Fei could sit back and relax because of Sky Dome, and to enter Sky Dome, one must cultivate divine grade astral chi to the spirit refining realm. However, if he dared to break through to the spirit refining realm, there would be an imbalance between the strong and the weak, and the Torch Dragon bloodline would inevitably devour the Golden Crow bloodline. From the looks of it, his plan to enter the Jin Wu religion had failed. If he wanted to obtain the Great Sun Golden Crow art, he could only start from Xian Yin and Lai Wuyan. Dragon Monarch Zhang Jiuxiao, Scarlet Flame Deity Tsang Shui, and Bai Yu often act together in order to prevent Miss Nalan from assassinating them. Killing them is difficult. Another one worth mentioning is Situ Qiushui. In my opinion, we should first kill Situ Qiushui, then kill the other spirit refining cultivators. As long as we kill all the spirit refining cultivators of the Lorraine Kingdom, we will be able to intimidate the others and make them think clearly about whether it is worth it to die for a rank 4 divine weapon. Then let's kill Situ Qiushui first. Sing Hui said. There were many spirit refining cultivators in the primal chaos heaven sect's territory, but more than 80% of them belonged to the Hunyuan heaven sect or were related to it. Killing 4 spirit refining cultivators in one go was enough to set off a large-scale storm among the loose cultivators in the Hunyuan heaven sect's territory. It is inconvenient for me to make a move, so I can only wish you all a smooth journey. Nalan Fei said, the rank 4 divine weapon, Soaring Sky Sword, is enough. After Tsing Hui finished speaking, he bid farewell to Yin Huang and left. Gongzi, what's the arrangement? Since we want to use it to intimidate all the spirit refining and true chi cultivators who are eager to make a move for the rank 4 divine weapon, then we will fight openly. After Tsing Hui finished speaking, he took the lead and walked out of the courtyard. Yin Huang hurriedly followed. When they arrived at the entrance of the courtyard, Bai Lansheng, who had already received news of the 3 elders of the Nalan clan slacking off, said with a worried face, Prince Tsing Hui, at this critical moment, please do not go out for the time being. If you follow beside Miss Nalan, she can still use these spirit refining cultivators to slightly protect you. But once you leave the courtyard, all the cultivators who have their eyes on you will definitely swarm you. No matter, Yin Huang, if there are people who do not know what's good for them, kill as many as they come. Sing Hui said. Yes, Gongzi, Yin Huang said solemnly. At this time, Bai Lansheng and the rest saw Yin Huang, who was following behind Sing Hui. Although Yin Huang did not reveal his earth chi, the aura around him from time to time caused Bai Lansheng to be shocked. This earth chi realm? Sing Hui nodded and stepped out of the courtyard with Yin Huang. But Prince Sing Hui, even if you really find a spirit refining cultivator as a guard, it will still be insufficient. Right now, there are a total of 6 spirit refining cultivators in the Luo Lin capital. Sing Hui did not bother with Bai Lansheng and walked out of the courtyard with Yin Huang. Taking large strides, they went straight to Situ Qiushui's residence. On the way, Yin Huang intentionally or unintentionally released his aura as a spirit refining cultivator, causing those true chi cultivators and even awakening cultivators who came for the rank 4 divine weapon to feel a chill in their hearts. Without anyone taking the lead, they did not dare to make a move first. After all, no matter how high the reward was, they still needed to be alive to enjoy it. Under such circumstances, when they arrived at Situ Qiushui's residence, it was unexpectedly calm. Situ Qiushui? Their target is actually Situ Qiushui. Situ Qiushui is a spirit refining cultivator who has been famous for many years. They are actually so confident. Even if Nalan Fei were to personally make a move, she would have to spend a lot of effort to deal with Situ Qiushui. These two, Master has not arrived yet? Quickly pass the news to Master. The two stood outside Situ Qiushui's residence, and let those cultivators who were observing them in the dark to quickly pass the news. In the dark, there was an endless stream of spies coming and going. Tsing looked at those spies and said, "Seems like those spirit-refining cultivators who have received the news will be here soon." Yin Huang, to achieve the best result, end this quickly. Understood. I will go and deal with Situ Qiushui now. Young master, be careful of other people's sneak attacks. After Yin Huang finished speaking, he was about to barge into Situ Qiushui's courtyard. But just as he stepped into the courtyard, before he could see the courtyard surroundings, a dazzling sword light brought along a biting cold current and completely swallowed Yin Huang's body. 16 sword shadows pierced Yin Huang's body at the same time. As long as the sword aura exploded, he would be torn into pieces. Chapter 85. What a fast sword! The Orochi cultivator that Cho Tsing-Hui brought did not even have time to react and was hit by the sword. As expected of the god-slaying sword Situ Qiushui, who had killed more than one spirit-refining cultivator. Does that Cho Tsing-Hui think that with a spirit-refining cultivator as his bodyguard, he can show off in front of the god-slaying sword Situ Qiushui? What a joke! So weak, along with the death of Cho Tsing-Hui's bodyguard. Only death awaits him. Seems like the rank 4 divine weapon will belong to Situ Qiushui. Yin Huang was unable to resist Situ Qiushui's sudden attack, causing an uproar among the spectators. Some of the scouts who had come on behalf of the spirit-refining cultivators were even more vexed. If they had known earlier that the Qing Su guards were so weak, they would have tried everything they could to get their masters to take action earlier and kill them. Not only were the spies vexed and shocked, even Situ Qiushui was surprised that she was able to kill a spirit-refining cultivator with a single strike. Although she was surprised, the sword in her hand did not stop moving. Die! Accompanied by a biting cold voice, a sharp sword aura erupted from the rank 3 upper-grade divine weapon in Situ Qiushui's hand. Pung pung pung! The sword aura that shot out scattered and splashed onto the ground. In an instant, the courtyard's door was torn into pieces. The extremely sturdy door beam was slashed down by the sword aura, almost collapsing. However, even though his sword chi had caused such considerable damage, Situ Qiushui, who originally had a victorious expression on her face, froze. Almost at the same time, a gloved right hand grabbed out through the air, ignoring the sword chi as if it was nothing, and grabbed the level 3 divine weapon in her hand. Just like that, a voice sounded. Yin Huang, who was clad in black armor, held on to Situ Qiushui's sword. No matter how much chi she shot out, it could not do anything to Yin Huang. Rank 4 upper grade profound water armor. Tsing-Hui glanced at the armor on Yin Huang's body. Originally, he wanted to take the armor for himself, but this armor was of the pure water attribute, and he had cultivated the Yang Qi. If he were to wear this rank 4 armor, its astonishing defense might not even be able to display 10% of its power. The armor on your body. Situ Qiushui's eyes widened, and a trace of disbelief and fear flashed across her eyes. Rumble. Thunder roared. Earth chi erupted. Pung. Accompanied by a crisp sound, the level 3 upper-grade divine sword in Yin Huang's hand was actually broken by the full force of his saint-grade stellar energy. God-slaying sword. Situ Qiushui's nickname was God-Slayer. Her entire cultivation was focused on sword arts. Without a sharp sword, her battle prowess would drop by at least 40%. Roar. And at this time, blazing glory let out a low roar. The roar of a tiger and the cry of a dragon was like thunder, shaking the mind of the nearby Situ Qiushui and causing her to feel dizzy. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yin Huang took a step forward. His right hand ruthlessly stabbed forward. In an instant, it pierced through Situ Qiushui's chest and grabbed her heart. Then, he squeezed it hard. Die! Pung! The fear in Situ Qiushui's eyes bloomed to the extreme. Then, like a burning meteor, it quickly dimmed. God-slaying sword Situ Qiushui dead. Yin Huang put away the mystic water armor covering his body and slowly retracted the arm he had stabbed into Situ Qiushui. Without the support of his arm, Situ Qiushui's body fell limply to the ground. As for Yin Huang, he allowed the blood to continuously drip down his right hand. His gaze slowly swept over the spies, awakening realm, and true Qi realm experts of the various factions who were spying in this direction. Wherever his gaze landed, all the cultivators lowered their heads in shock. Not a single person dared to meet his gaze. Dead. Situ Qiushui is dead. One move, God's slaying sword Situ Qiushui was killed in one move. How is this possible? Too savage. Who is this expert that Cho Tsing Hui brought? Whoosh! On the street, a figure exploded with stellar energy and instantly appeared outside Situ Qiushui's cave. It was divine flying bat Hunyuan. He rushed over as soon as he received the news, attempting to stop Qing Su and kill him so that he could obtain the reward for Fairy Jasper's Class 4 God artifact. However, when he arrived on the street, he just happened to see blazing glory crushing Situ Qiushui's heart. His slightly excited expression immediately froze. See, Situ. Coincidentally, at this moment, Yin Huang, who had heard the sound of breaking air, turned his gaze and landed on the divine flying bat, Hunyuan, who was rushing over. The aura under his feet exploded, and the floor he stood on immediately shattered into pieces. Stone fragments flew everywhere, and he borrowed the force of the rebound to brazenly pounce forward like an arrow that had just left the bow, directly pouncing towards Hunyuan, who had just arrived. Damn it! Yin Huang pounced, and a terrifying thunderous pressure assaulted Hunyuan's face, causing him to feel a sense of suffocation and despair. He couldn't block it. He couldn't block it at all. Intense fear welled up in Hunyuan's heart as he retreated as fast as he could, instantly widening the distance between them. What he had awakened was the bloodbat bloodline. This was a famous top ferocious beast in the vast wasteland. Even though it was not a spirit beast, it relied on its innate ability to determine the location of Yin Huang's murderous aura. After that, it fled without any hesitation. Even Situ Qiushui had died miserably at his opponent's hands. He, Hunyuan, knew that he was far inferior to Situ Qiushui. If he faced this savage, only death would await him. Whoosh! At this moment, Tsing Hui, who had been standing to the side and almost ignored, made his move. Yin Huang's strength overshadowed everyone else's, attracting everyone's attention. Coupled with the fact that Hunyuan, Yin Huang, and the others were all great figures who had succeeded in refining spirit energy, Qing Su was clearly weaker in front of these great figures despite having cultivated true Qi. But when Tsing Hui truly attacked, everyone realized that they were wrong. Ridiculously wrong. One strike. Boundless radiance. In the void, it was as if a blazing meteor had appeared, carrying with it a lightning-like speed as it pierced out. Not only was this strike fast, but it also seemed to contain endless mysteries. It completely sealed off the space within 10 meters of Hunyuan. Unless he had the ability to teleport out of the 10-meter radius, no matter how he tried to block it, the strike would still be able to pierce through him like a hot knife through butter. The third strike of the burning Heaven 13 swords, starfire flowing light. If I can't dodge, then I won't. A puny true Qi realm cultivator actually dares to bully me. Die. Hunyuan's eyes flashed with a trace of savagery. With a low roar, an incomparably cold spirit Qi suddenly erupted from his body and infused into the level 3 middle gray dagger in his hand. With a trace of the aura of death, he charged towards Tsing Hui's soaring heaven sword of the 9 heavens. As he attacked, he had already calculated the next steps. As long as his spirit Qi destroyed the Qi on Tsing Hui's sword, he would take advantage of the situation and charge in, capturing Cho Tsing Hui alive. Then, he would use Cho Tsing Hui to force the terrifying spirit refining realm cultivator. At that time, Not only would he be able to capture Tsing Hui and escape safely from the hands of the spirit refining realm cultivator, he would also be able to bring Tsing Hui's head to Fairy Bayou and claim the level 4 divine weapon as his own. All sorts of thoughts flashed through Ishuahan's mind. But hope was beautiful. But when his spirit chi collided with Tsing Hui's chi, the illusion of snow being exposed to the scorching sun caused his expression to change greatly. Bang! Chi and spirit chi exploded. Compared to vital chi, Gang Chi was clearly several times more solid and powerful. However, at this moment, Gang Chi that Ishuahan had unleashed was rapidly melting under the bombardment of Qiyang vital chi and was pierced through. That was not all. While the high-grade 4th-grade soaring sword possessed sharpness, it also gave Qing Su unparalleled speed. In the moment Ishuahan's aura was dispersed by the true chi of Scarlet Yang, the soaring sword stabbed out, piercing Ishuahan's right hand that held the dagger. Afterwards, with a jolt and a flick of the sword, half of Ishuahan's wrist was ripped apart by the true chi and sharpness that erupted from the edge of the sword. Blood spurted everywhere. Ishuahan's arm was crippled. The intense pain caused him to scream. How is this possible? Your chi can actually... You have cultivated to saint grade. No, divine grade. Xiao. Without waiting for Ishuahan to finish his sentence, blazing glory followed up with a thunderous strike, landing heavily on Ishuahan's back. Rumble. Thunder roared. Ishuahan's body exploded on the spot. Flying God Bat, Ishuahan died. In the blink of an eye, 2 of the 6 hostile spirit refining cultivators had died. This scene shocked all the spectators. Damn it, who is that? Ordinary spirit refining cultivators are no match for him. Could it be a peak spirit refining cultivator? If Cho Tsing Hui really invited such a strong cultivator to protect him, all the spirit refining cultivators in Luo Lin's royal family would not be able to do anything to him. Spirit refining realm, that's a spirit refining cultivator. And he died just like that? Other than the members of Hunyuan Heaven Sect, spirit refining cultivators are the strongest cultivators in the surrounding 24 countries. Every one of them is famous and can suppress mountains and rivers. Yet they were killed so easily by the person in front of us. With such a fierce person, who can do anything to Cho Tsing Hui? Quickly report this news to the sect leader. Our Yuan sect will withdraw from this matter. Otherwise, it will bring disaster to the entire sect. For a battle of this level, our Immortal Fist sect will only die if we intervene. There's always someone better than us. A rank 4 divine weapon is indeed not something our Immortal Fist sect can covet. The atmosphere of fear quickly spread among the spectators. Before Tsing Hui could chase them away, at least half of the spies had left. Even those who did not leave had a look of horror on their faces, extinguishing any thoughts of killing Tsing Hui for the rank 4 divine weapon. Young master. Yen Huang shook off the blood on his hands and respectfully came to Tsing Hui's side. At the same time, he handed over Situ Qiushui's sword. This Situ Qiushui has another divine weapon, rank 3 upper grade, the same grade as my Qingxiao sword. Unfortunately, it's a water attribute. I'll use it first. Tsing Hui received the sword. The Soaring Sky sword was Nalan Fei's personal sword, and it was impossible for him to keep it forever. Ordinary level 1 or even level 2 divine weapons simply couldn't withstand his overbearing and blazing Scarlet Yang true chi. If he really poured his true chi into the weapon, let alone unleashing its power, it would already be a miracle if the Scarlet Yang true chi didn't meld it. Chapter 86. It's my fault. Yin Huang felt very awkward. Tsing Hui's green firmament sword. It was destroyed by him. Don't worry, young master. That green netherworld realm expert's divine weapon was either destroyed or used by me. However, that green netherworld realm expert, who was at level 14 chaotic realm, took out many precious ores and treasures to bribe me in order to save his life. I've kept those things. I'm sure young master will be able to forge a satisfactory divine weapon. If there are any precious ores along the way, you can buy them. Yes. Sing Hui nodded and glanced around. It seems that killing Situ Qiushui and Yi Shuahan was effective. However, this kind of deterrence is not enough. Chao Zhendao and Wang Zhe seem to be together. Our next target is to kill these two. Killing them is the same as cutting off all of BU's spies. When the time comes, I'd like to see if she'll come personally with her men or hide in Eastern Cloud Imperial Capital like a coward. Sing Hui and Yin Huang did not stop and went straight to Chao Zhendao and Wang Zhe's courtyard. This scene once again aroused the spirits of those busybodies, and they followed one after another. As Tsing Hui had not appeared before, although Bai Yu and Nalan Fei kept fighting, it was not intense. Although there were casualties on both sides, most of them were ordinary warriors in the Viscera refining realm and blood-changing realm. In more than half a year, the number of awakening realm and true Qi realm powerhouses that were lost did not exceed 20. For example, the Pinochet Dragon King's 5 true Qi realm powerhouses and more than a dozen awakening realm powerhouses were killed by Tsing Hui. This could be said to be the most tragic one. Because the main character was not present, Bai Yu did not come to the Lorraine Kingdom. She only used various methods to search for Tsing Hui's whereabouts. At the same time, she suppressed all forces related to him in a futile attempt to force him out of hiding. Now that Tsing Hui had truly appeared, Bai Yu, who wanted to avenge her brother, would truly begin to madly retaliate with all her might. However, Tsing Hui obviously did not intend to give her the opportunity to accumulate enough strength. Master, something bad has happened. At the corner of the street that was less than a kilometer away from Situ Qiushui, a middle-aged man with awakening realm cultivation bumped into Chao Zhendao and Wang Zhe, who were walking towards him. He quickly panicked. Without waiting for the middle-aged man to reply, Wang Zhe impatiently asked, "Something bad happened? Was Chou Tsinghui killed? Since he dared to step out of the Zhua clan's courtyard, he should have at least one spirit-refining cultivator by his side, right? Please don't die so easily. This is related to a level 4 divine weapon." No, Chou Tsinghui is safe and sound, but Situ Qiushui, as well as Yi Shuahan, who rushed over, were killed. Furthermore, what? Situ Qiushui and Yi Shuahan, who rushed over later, were all killed? This is impossible. Old Hu, did you see wrongly? Situ Qiushui is a famous spirit-refining cultivator. If not for the treasure that young Miss bestowed upon us, even if the two of us joined hands, we might not be able to defeat Situ Qiushui. Could it be that Nalan Feng, Nalan Hong, and Nalan Sheng made a move together? It's absolutely true. Master, that Qing Su and the spirit-refining cultivator beside him are heading in this direction and will be here soon. We should retreat first and wait for the other cultivators sent by Fairy Bai Yu to arrive before we plan. Chao Zhendao? Wang Zhe? Very good. I didn't expect you to be here. This saves me the time to go and take your lives one by one. Before the middle-aged man finished speaking, Tsing Hui and Yin Huang's figures had appeared at the same time. Chao Zhendao and Wang Zhe looked at Tsing Hui and Yin Huang with a dignified expression. Although Chou Tsing Hui has reached the true Qi realm, which is inconsistent with the information we received, it is still not worth mentioning. We just need to be careful of the rank 3 divine weapon on him. The key is the middle-aged man beside him. We have the spiritual communication bracelet that young Miss gave us, which allows us to communicate mentally. In addition, the two of us have fought together for more than 10 times in the past few years. If we join hands, we can display the effect of 1 + 1 is greater than 2. We have the confidence to defeat Situ Qiushui, so it is not impossible for us to kill him. As long as we kill him, the remaining true Qi realm Chou Tsing Hui will be at our mercy. Chao Zhendao and Wang Zhe reached a consensus in an instant. They did not evade and went forward directly. Masters, you can't. Old Hu, who knew how terrifying Yin Huang was, exclaimed, "That spirit-refining cultivator's strength has definitely reached the peak of the spirit-refining realm. Moreover, He has a treasure armor that could block Situ, Qiushui's sword. It is most likely a rank 4 treasure armor. Chao Jindao and Wang Zhe, who were full of confidence, froze on the spot when they heard Old Hu's words. Peak spirit, refining strength. Rank 4 treasure armor. How could he continue to fight happily like this? Fortunately, the two of them knew when to yield and when not to. After confirming that Old Hu would not lie to them, they retreated. Just then, two figures whizzed over. Your Excellency Chao Jindao, Your Excellency Wang Zhe. The person Zhuo Qingshu brought with him has a high cultivation base and is extremely ferocious. None of the four of us is a match for him. Why don't we join forces? At that time, if we really obtain a rank 4 divine weapon, the four of us will share it equally. Following the arrival of the two figures, they were the other two spirit-refining cultivators in the city, crafty assassin Shadow and poisoned gentleman Tong Ping. That's exactly what I was thinking. The two of us will be facing his bodyguard head-on. We'll have to trouble Your Excellency Slaughterer Shadow to hold him back and provide assistance. Your Excellency Injustice is proficient in poisons. You can capture Zhuo Qingshu alive and hand him over to Fairy Bu. I believe that a living Zhuo Qingshu is definitely more valuable than a dead one. Haha, just a small true Qi realm cultivator. Leave it to me. Tong Ping laughed and took the lead to charge towards Tsinghui. Chao Jindao, Wang Zhe, and Assassin Shadow followed closely behind to block Yin Huang. Young master, although Yin Huang was confident in Tsinghui's strength, he could not help but call out, Hee, your opponent is me. If you don't want the people you are protecting to die in vain, you better surrender. Chao Jindao and Wang Zhe both took out their rank 3 divine weapons. Their bodies were covered with earth energy, and they did not dare to relax. The two of you are courting death. Yin Huang's eyes were overflowing with coldness as he directly faced the 2 rank 3 divine weapons that were bombarding him. His black water armor was integrated with his gang Qi as streams of light swirled around him. Then he stretched out his right hand, and the sharp claws of a rank 4 divine weapon tore through the void. The friction between the gang Qi and the airflow caused a violent air explosion in the void, causing Chao Jindao and Wang Zhe's faces to turn extremely ugly. Damn it, his weapon is also a rank 4 divine weapon. Our attacks may not be able to break his rank 4 armor, but if his claws land on us, we will definitely die. Retreat. The two spirit-refining cultivators quickly realized the advantages and disadvantages of each other and immediately switched from offense to defense. 2 rank 3 divine weapons collided with Yin Huang's rank 4 gloves. Bang! Sparks flew. Earth energy surged. Chao Jindao and Wang Zhe felt their palms tremble violently. A terrifying force passed through their arms and blasted into their bodies, causing them to fly backward. They almost lost their grip on the divine weapons in their hands and almost lost their grip on them. While Yin Huang was fighting with Chao Jindao and Wang Zhe, Assassin Shadow's attack came at the right time. The rank 3 mid-grade dagger aimed at Yin Huang's throat. Wong Wong. When the dagger collided with the mystic water armor infused with stellar energy, it did not cause any damage except for a ripple. Damn it, this is definitely not an ordinary rank 4 artifact armor. It is most likely a mid-grade or even a high-grade artifact armor. Assassin Shadow cursed and was about to leave. If the attack did not hit, he would flee 1,000 miles away. You want to leave? Not so easy. Yin Huang's eyes lit up. He was a talented fighter. When his claw collided with Chao Jindao's and Wang Zhe's attacks, not only did Chao Jindao and Wang Zhe retreat, but he also made use of the rebounding force from their weapons to turn his body around. He clenched his claw into a fist and punched towards Tu Ying with a thunderous force. Rumble. Thunder roared. The fist force exploded through the void with a special force, causing Assassin Shadow to feel dizzy. Not good. Slaughter Shadow, who had forced himself to wake up from his dizziness, instantly felt a suffocating wind pressure coming at him. Before he could react, Blazing Glory's attack, which carried the weight of Mount Tai, had already collided with his head. Bang! Even with the protection of his chi shield, Slaughter Shadow's head exploded like a watermelon hit by a sniper bullet under Yan Huang's fist force. He died on the spot. Assassin Shadow, Chao Zhendao, and Wang Zhe felt a chill run down their spines when they saw that Tu Ying had been killed by Yan Huang in an instant. When Yan Huang killed Assassin Shadow and turned to fight Chao Zhendao and Wang Zhe, Xing Hui also fought against Poison Gentleman. As soon as Poison Gentleman Tong Ping Ping made his move, he shot out 108 steel needles in one breath using a mechanical prop. Each steel needle flickered with a cold light, soaked in a deadly poison that could kill upon contact with blood. 108 needles shot out together like a torrential rain of pear blossoms. Unfortunately, Xing Hui's red sun True Chi could even incinerate a ranked god weapon, let alone poisoned steel needles. Clang! The sword was unsheathed. As the soaring sword was unleashed, the blazing red sun real Chi transformed into a raging flame that swept across the space in front of him. Hundreds of steel needles were instantly melted into molten iron, and all the air along the way was burned into nothingness. It was the second sword of the 13 swords of the burning heaven, prairie blazing fire. Such true chi. Poison Gentleman could tell that the Red Sun's sword was extraordinary. He thought that Xing Hui's true chi was so powerful because of the sword. Before he could take out a fan-shaped god weapon that was stained with poison, Xing Hui had already taken the initiative to attack. Xing Hui became one with his sword in the exploding flames and arrived in front of Tong Booping in an instant. Before the sword arrived, the rolling flames on the sword arrived first. The rolling heat forced Tong Booping to use his earth energy and retreat temporarily. As he retreated, the outcome of the battle seemed to have been set. The speed of the 9 heavens soaring sword's attack doubled as Tong Booping's figure retreated. The speed increase of this level 4 god weapon was fully demonstrated by Xing Hui. Tong Booping's earth energy, which could block 90% of the True Chi Realm's attacks, was like paper in front of the soaring sword. The sword was out. In the sword. Chapter 87. Chi. The sword struck. In the sword. The tip of the soaring sky, sword pierced Poison Gentleman Tong Booping's throat. Blood splattered everywhere. Poison Gentleman Tong Booping died. Xing Hui kept his sword and stood quietly at the side. It had to be said that due to the fact that it was very difficult for the people of this world to conceal the ripples of power they gave off, they were extremely superstitious about their own cultivation realms. Just like Poison Gentleman, they believed that they could completely play with Qing Su in the palm of their hands. When they attacked, they would actually try to capture him alive instead of killing him directly. As a result, how could they defeat Qing Su, who wielded the soaring sky sword, whose strength was no weaker than a late spirit refining cultivator? Of course, even if Tong Booping concentrated and went all out, the result would still not change. At most, he would be able to hold on a little longer. The green ruins sword shuddered, and in the next moment he kicked off with his feet and shot out like an arrow. He arrived behind Chao Zhendao, who had been forced back by blazing glory in a single instance. Before he had even arrived, the sharpness of the sword arrived first, shocking Chao Zhendao to the point where all his hairs stood on end. Damn it, Tong Booping is actually so useless. Chao Zhendao roared. The aura chi around his body twisted and fiercely slapped behind him. The friction between the aura chi and the airflow caused bursts of chi explosions in the air, shaking the ground until it cracked. Master, you can't. The weapon in his hand is at least a high-grade rank 4 spirit weapon. Under the support of the spirit weapon, his true chi is not something ordinary aura chi can resist. Old who witnessed how Tong Booping died, turned pale with fright and sternly shouted. However, no matter how fast his voice was, how could it be faster than Xing Hui's sword? Pung! Flames burst out, and gold and iron intersected. Chao Zhendao activated his Gang Chi and turned around to strike the soaring sword with his palm. Although it shattered the crimson yang genuine chi contained in the soaring sword, it had no effect on the body of the soaring sword. The biting cold sword pierced through Chao Jindao's body at an incredible speed as he tried his best to dodge. Although it did not pierce through any vital parts, it still left a dark red sword wound on his shoulder. Most importantly, this sword forced him to try his best to dodge, causing him to lose his balance. Yin Huang immediately seized the opportunity. Die! Yin Huang let out a low roar and thunder rumbled all over his body. Under the stimulation of the thunder force, his speed skyrocketed. His fist, which contained a terrifying power, arrived in front of Chao Jindao in an instant. Chao Jindao, who was powerless to dodge, widened his eyes and shouted in horror, "Wang Zhe, save me!" Not good. Wang Zhe, who had telepathy and was connected to Chao Jindao's mind, instantly sensed Chao Jindao's danger. He roared as he activated the Gang Qi in his body and viciously slashed at Yin Huang's body. Die! However, Yin Huang, who was relying on the Blackwater armor, completely did not place Wang Zhe's explosive attack in his eyes. At the same time that the protective aura circulating around his body was slashed by Wang Zhe, the extremely thunderous attack had already struck Wang Zhe head-on, and then his strength exploded. Boom! Blood spurted out. Chao Jindao, who was hit by Blazing Glory's punch, had a huge hole in his chest. He died on the spot under his horrified gaze. As for Yin Huang, who was hit by Wang Zhe's attack, other than being pushed a few steps forward by the inertia of the attack, the ground on the street was torn apart. He did not suffer any injuries. The Blackwater armor was a rank 4 upper-grade armor, and Yin Huang himself was a powerful person who had condensed holy rank Gang Qi. Even if Tsing Hui used the divine technique to increase his attack attribute to 38, ordinary attacks would not be able to break through the defense of the Blackwater armor in a short period of time, let alone a mere Wang Zhe. Brat, have you thought about how you want to die? Yin Huang rushed a few steps forward, suppressing his slightly surging qi and blood. He suddenly turned his head and stared at Wang Zhe with a ferocious expression, being stared at by Yin Huang, who had killed 4 spirit refining cultivators. Wang Zhe felt a bone-piercing chill surging up his body, causing him to feel a chill all over his body. Cho Tsing Hui actually recruited such a terrifying helper. Run, run. At this moment, there was only one thought left in his mind. The next moment, he had already retreated and rushed in the opposite direction of Yin Huang with his fastest speed. He only wanted to get as far away from this demon as possible. Xiao! At the same time Wang Zhe retreated, the soaring sky sword's edge had already reached him, completely sealing off the space he was retreating in. Did I say you could leave? Thousand Mirror World. Facing Tsing Hui's interception, Wang Zhe's eyes suddenly burst out with an aghast light. The next moment, his figure seemed to have turned into 6, fleeing in 6 different directions at the same time. Illusion? Tsing Hui instantly understood Wang Zhe's method. Unfortunately, even if his Thousand Mirror World was used against Yin Huang, it would more or less have some effect. After all, Yin Huang's spirit was only rank 34. But Tsing Hui break? Following Tsing Hui's loud shout, the 2 brilliant suns in the spiritual world bloomed at the same time. A blazing, majestic sword intent was like the sun rising from the east, slowly rising, blossoming with boundless radiance, as if it wanted to pierce through the haze and darkness of the entire world. Wang Wang. The ripples dissipated. Wang Zhe's pale face, after using the Thousand Mirror World, suddenly appeared clearly in front of him. His body shook as the soaring sky sword stabbed again, piercing through Wang Zhe's heart under his disbelieving gaze. You're actually not afraid of my illusion. Qi. Tsing Hui pulled out his sword, bringing out a cluster of blood. Xiao. Yin Huang's figure landed in front of Tsing Hui. Young master. After speaking, he looked at Wang Zhe, who had been stabbed, and was a little surprised. I didn't expect Wang Zhe to be able to use his talent. I don't know what kind of fortuitous encounter he had. Talent? Usually, Only when one reached the prominent divine stage and manifested their battle physique would they be able to activate the talent of their bloodline. Just like Tsing Hui, when he manifested the Torch Dragon battle physique or the Golden Crow battle physique, he would be immune to 99% of the fire damage in the world, and the power of his fire techniques would be doubled. If he could reach the divine power stage of the Saint stage, he would be able to turn his Red Sun True Force into the Great Sun True Fire, which would be able to burn the heavens and destroy the earth. The divine power stage was also the dividing line between the different bloodlines. If one could maintain the divine beast bloodline and cultivate to the divine power stage and derive a divine beast-level divine power, it would be as easy as eating and drinking. However, the probability was too low. In the 10 great sacred sects, there might be 1 or 2 divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine chi awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine chi awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine chi awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine chi awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine chi awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine chi awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine beast bloodline awakening divine. For example, the Jin Wu religion only had 12 people, including those in the true chi stage. If the aura energy stage was already like this, then there was the prominent divine stage and the true energy stage of the saint stage, which required one to cultivate divine grade true force. Divine grade bloodline, true chi, aura energy, battle physique, true energy, divine power. Every step was difficult. As long as there was a problem at every step, the divine grade bloodline would fall back to the divine grade. And if one wanted to cultivate it again, they would have to pay 10 times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times the price. From this, one could see how precious divine grade divine power was. Young master, what should we do next? Tsing Hui glanced at Yin Huang, and then at the surrounding spies, who were so shocked that they did not dare to breathe, and said, I remember that in addition to the warship on Dragon Chan Island, there is another warship that belongs to my aunt docked at the airport. It's too troublesome to passively wait for BU to bring people to kill us, and we don't know how much time it will waste. Let's just go directly to the Eastern Cloud Imperial Capital. I believe that as long as we are fast enough before the news here reaches the Eastern Sun Imperial Capital, as long as I show myself, BU will definitely bring people to kill us. At that time, as long as we kill BU, this matter will naturally be resolved perfectly. Yin Huang's expression changed when he heard this. Young master, this is too dangerous. According to Miss Nayland, BU has received a treasure from the Void Origin Peak Master, so she can't be considered weak. Meanwhile, the Dragon Monarch Zhang Jiuxiao and the Scarlet Flame Fairy Tsang Shui by her side are not weaker than the God-slaying sword Sidu Qiushui. If the 3 of them attack together, I may not be able to win. And young master, if you rashly use a divine art or secret technique, if someone sees through it and spreads the news that you are a rank 10 son of chaos, there will be no end of trouble in the future. Tsing Hui nodded. The temptation of a rank 10 son of chaos was far greater than that of a rank 2 son of chaos. One had to know that in the entire East Baron, the create evolved mystical gates patriarch, Dao Xuani, was only at the 16th level. Many of the sacred grounds hall masters and law kings were only at the 1st or 2nd level of the primal chaos. A rank 10 son of chaos, even if he inherited it, would be at rank 5. If it was exposed, it would definitely attract the attention of those who did not have rank 10 son of chaos or those with lower rank 10 son of chaos. The unspoken rule of the cultivation world was that only those in the Qingming realm could maintain a rank 10 son of chaos. As for those above rank 15, they would have to start from the saint realm. Young master, if you're willing to follow me, we might as well make a trip overseas. I still have a few good friends overseas. As long as we are willing to pay a price, they will definitely be willing to help us deal with Bu. Yin Huang said. Overseas. Hearing that, Tsing Hui nodded. All right, then let's head overseas. We have already killed all the spies that Bu placed in Luo Lin Kingdom. The death of the sixth spirit refining realm cultivators should be enough to deter those rogue cultivators who came for the bounty. The Zhua family could be considered safe for the time being. Then it will be easy. The overseas cultivators have always been hostile to the disciples of the 10 great sections. Some of them would even go deep into the mainland from time to kill the direct disciples of the 10 great sections. After all, the direct disciples of the 10 great sects are all rich. Killing one of them would save them a few decades of searching for resources. That Bu was given a treasure by the Sky Origin Peak Lord, so her wealth should not be bad. As long as we go overseas, we will definitely be able to get enough help. Yin Huang said with a smile. Let's see how Bu reacts first. If she knows that I have appeared and killed all the experts she recruited, then she will rush towards Luo Lin Kingdom. We will get rid of her once and for all. Hence, we will set off 3 days later. Yes, young master. Chapter 88. Tsing Hui and Yin Huang casually returned to Nalan Fei's courtyard. They did not even inform anyone, including Nalan Fei. Bai Lansheng and the rest, who were guarding the door, only knew that Tsing Hui had gone out. They did not inquire further. However, the death of 6 spirit refining cultivators was an earth-shattering news to the Lorraine Kingdom that did not have a single spirit refining cultivator. It was hard not to cause an earthquake. Therefore, in just a short 2 hours, the news swept through the entire Lorraine Kingdom like a storm. Even if Bai Lansheng and the rest did not deliberately inquire about it, the news still inevitably reached their ears. When he received the news, Bai Lansheng felt a little stupefied. After repeatedly searching for people to verify, he immediately rushed to Nalan Fei's study as fast as he could. In the study room, other than Nalan Fei, Nalan Hong, Nalan Sheng, and 4 other true Qi cultivators were talking to Nalan Fei. When Bai Lansheng stepped in, he heard Nalan Fei's dissatisfied snort. Since we no longer need people from the Nalan clan here, we will naturally return home. As for what will happen to the ordinary people from the Zhua clan, it has nothing to do with us. Elders, are you really going to do this? Hee, isn't it just discussing the matter as it is? We don't want to either, but this is what you keep forcing us. We have no choice. Nalan Fei was about to say something, but at this moment, she glanced at Bai Lansheng, who was coming in this direction. She immediately asked, Is something the matter? Good news, great news. Bai Lansheng understood that the current situation was unfavorable to his miss and did not hesitate to throw out the news. According to the report we just received, Prince Tsing Hui and his good friend, Lord Yin Huang, directly attacked Situ, Qiushui's courtyard. They killed god-slaying sword Situ, Qiushui on the spot, and then killed flying deity bat, Yi Shuihan, who wanted to take advantage of the situation. Not only that, after killing the 2 spirit refining cultivators, Prince Tsing Hui and Lord Yin Huang went straight to Chao Zhendao's courtyard. On the way, they encountered music sage Chao Zhendao and mirror immortal Wang Zhe. After that, poisonous gentleman Tong Buping and Tuing followed. After a great battle, Lord Yin Huang and Prince Tsing Hui killed all 4 spirit refining cultivators. What? Hearing Bai Lansheng's report in such a fast tone, everyone present, except for Nalan Fei, who had some understanding of their strength, could not help but be shocked. This is impossible. Those were 6 spirit refining cultivators, and Situ Qiushui was a famous figure in the spirit refining realm. How could he be killed by someone? Nalan Sheng looked at Bai Lansheng sternly. You're not spouting nonsense just to boost morale, are you? What I said is absolutely true. Bai Lansheng vowed. This news is already spread throughout the entire Luo Lin Kingdom. The process of Prince Tsing Hui and Lord Yin Huang killing the 6 spirit refining cultivators was witnessed by many people. If the 2 elders do not believe me, you can send people to investigate. Very soon, you'll be able to obtain the detailed information. When Nailan Sheng was about to speak, it seemed that Nailan Feng, who was responsible for inquiring about the news or putting pressure on Nailan Fei, rushed in. Before he arrived, his voice was heard first. "Two elders, the situation has changed." When he rushed into the courtyard and saw Bai Lansheng reporting the news, as well as the shocked Nailan Sheng and Nailan Hong, he seemed to understand something, and his face suddenly changed. Nailan Sheng did not care whether Nailan Fei was present or not and quickly asked, "Just now, this person said that Cho Tsing Hui and a spirit refining cultivator called Yin Huang killed the 6 spirit refining cultivators that Bai Yu recruited. Is there such a thing?" Nailan Feng wanted to say that this news was nonsense, but under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he could not distort the truth. He could only bitterly nod his head. There is such a thing. That Cho Tsing Hui got acquainted with a spirit refining cultivator from who knows where. Not only is his cultivation not weaker than a late-stage spirit refining cultivator, he is also wearing a rank 4 armor and a rank 4 divine weapon. Relying on his cultivation and the advantage of his divine weapon, Situ, Qiushui, Yishuahan, Chao Jindao, Wang Zhe, and the others were not his opponents and were quickly killed by him. When Nailan Sheng and Nailan Hong heard this, their faces sank. 6 spirit refining cultivators were all dead. One must know that the area under the jurisdiction of the 10 great sects was different from the overseas. In the 10 great sects area of influence, there were not many spirit refining cultivators. Moreover, all of them were more or less related to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Very few people were willing to rashly intervene in the battle between 2 spirit refining true disciples. This was also the reason why Fairy Bai Yu was only able to attract 4 spirit refining cultivators after half a year of relying on the reward of a rank 4 divine weapon. Now that the 4 spirit refining cultivators and the 2 spirit refining cultivators under Bai Yu had died, in the next few months, it would be impossible to form such a large scale again. Even if Bai Yu still had Dragon Monarch Zhang Jiuxiao and Scarlet Flame Deity Song Shui by her side, but if the 2 of them joined forces, they would only be comparable to Situ Qiushui and the other 5 spirit refining cultivators. That peak character called Yin Huang was able to defeat Situ Qiushui and the other 5 spirit refining cultivators. Naturally, he could also defeat Zhang Jiuxiao and Song Shui. It could be said that with the arrival of Yin Huang, the battle between Fairy Bai Yu and Nailan Fei had already changed. It was even possible that it would end prematurely. If the Nailan clan wanted to obtain any more Tier 3 divine weapons or pills from Nailan Fei, they would naturally have no hope of doing so. Damn it! That Yin Huang, who exactly is he? Rashly intervening in the battle between Hunyuan Heaven Sect's true disciples, isn't he afraid of being hated by Hunyuan Heaven Sect's true disciples? Nailan Sheng angrily scolded. Nailan Fei stood up. "Everyone, I have something to attend to, so I'll take my leave first. As for the elders, if you're willing to continue guarding the Zhuo family, I, Nailan Fei, am willing to accept this favor. If you want to leave, I, Nailan Fei, will not force you. In short, if you get into trouble in the future, just don't drag me, Nailan Fei, into it." With that, she no longer spoke to Nailan Sheng, Nailan Feng, and Nailan Hong. Under their somewhat awkward gazes, she quickly left the hall and headed towards Tsing Hui's courtyard. Tsing Hui and Yin Huang had just returned and were about to discuss something when Yin Huang seemed to have received some news. He hurriedly said, "Gongzi, please wait for a moment. There's news from the Jin Wu religion." With that, he quickly sent a portion of his spirit into the primal chaos temple. The Jin Wu religion. Tsing Hui urgently needed to obtain the Great Sun Golden Crow technique and cultivate the Golden Crow Qi. Only after cultivating the Golden Crow Qi could he continue to cultivate the Sun Torch Sutra and Condensed Gang Qi. Otherwise, his cultivation realm would face the danger of stagnation. Although he had received news of the teleportation technique, he could not guarantee that the teleportation technique had the ability to teleport him to Earth. Therefore, he could not relax his goal of cultivating to the shattering vacuum realm in 10 years. Under such circumstances, the sooner he obtained the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, the better. Yan Huang did not let Xing Hui wait for too long. Not long after, he said with a happy face, "Gongzi, I just received news from Tianwen. In order to cultivate the 6 elements true fire, Lai Wuyang of the Jinwu religion will most likely collect the underwater fire formed by the volcanic eruption in Longluo Bay in half a month. Although Longluo Bay is a sea close to the mainland, strictly speaking, it belongs to the overseas forces. Moreover, this sea area is the territory of the Qingkun Holy Land. The Jinwu religion can't reach it. If Gongzi really wants to make a move, that would be the best place. Lai Wuyang, I remember that she has the 3rd layer of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Yes, the 6 elements true fire that Lai Wuyang cultivates is a top-notch flame essence. If she can really cultivate this type of true fire, she only needs to fuse it with the Golden Crow's bloodline when breaking through to the spirit refining realm and let the Golden Crow's bloodline consume it. There's a high chance that she can cultivate the divine grade Golden Crow Chi in one go. Good. Pay attention to her movements. She will cultivate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Yes, Yin Huang said, just as he was about to divert his attention back to the primal chaos temple. Nalan Fei, who had received news that Xing Hui and Yin Huang had killed the 6 spirit refining realm experts, rushed over. Xing Hui, Sire Yin Huang. Miss Nalan. Xing Hui and Yin Huang stood up and nodded at her. I have heard the news. It seems that I have underestimated Sire Yin Huang. With Sire Yin Huang here, Bai will not dare to act rashly. Nalan Fei smiled. Yin Huang nodded. Bai Yu's strength is limited. As long as she retains her rationality, she should be able to understand that continuing to fight against us will only cause her losses to be even greater. Nalan Fei nodded. We plan to wait here for 3 days and see Bai Yu's reaction. If there is no movement from Bai Yu after 3 days, we plan to make a trip to the sea. Go to the sea? Xing Hui nodded. My sword has been destroyed, and I need to forge a new one. Coincidentally, Yin Huang Island has some good materials for forging swords. We plan to find those materials. The sea? Nalan Fei nodded slightly. With me protecting the Zhou family, there won't be any problems. Now that you've appeared, Bai Yu's attention will definitely shift to you. If you go to other places, it will be somewhat dangerous, but if you go to the sea, Bai Yu may not have the courage to chase after you. After all, apart from the elite true disciples, ordinary people will only become prey if they go to the sea. Xing Hui nodded. In the end, he pondered for a moment before saying, Auntie, since you have Tian Xiong's background, after this matter is resolved, you should bring all the Zhou family's direct members to the Hunyuan Heaven sect. As for the branch family members, I feel that there's no need to waste too much energy on them. Chapter 89. Bang! Bang! In the Eastern Cloud Empire's Prince Long Quan's courtyard, the sound of things being smashed could be heard. Cho Xing Hui, I will tear you into pieces. In the room, Bai Yu's angry voice could be heard. The whole courtyard was filled with white lanterns and white sails. The hall was filled with cold air. Even now, the morning hall was still cold. In the middle of the hall was an ice coffin. Long Quan's body was sealed in ice, looking very lifelike. At the side of the ice coffin, Bai Yu's face was distorted. Zhuo Qingshu summoned such a powerful spirit refining cultivator. Even Situ, Qiu Shui, and the others were killed by them. It won't be easy to kill him again. Moreover, I heard that when Zhuo Qingshu killed the 5-color Dragon King, he used a flying sword. It can be seen that he has at least a flying sword on him. In this case, it will be even more difficult to kill him. Unless there is a spirit and chi unification level expert of longevity stage, for otherwise, we won't be able to do anything to him. Otherwise, we won't be able to kill him, Scarlet Flame Deity Song Shui said coldly. No matter what, I want him dead. Even if I give up everything I have, it won't be an exception. Bai Yu clenched her teeth. Her eyes were bloodshot. According to the information I've received, Cho Xing Hui doesn't care about the other members of the Zhou family. This can be seen from the fact that he did not hesitate to kill the younger generation of the Zhou family a year ago. Using the Zhou family as a threat is meaningless. Instead, it will only arouse Nalan Fei's desire to fight to the death. Once she throws everything aside and wants to kill you, we might not be able to stop her. Song Shui shook her head. In fact, it was not that they might not be able to stop her, but they did not dare to stop her. Nalan Fei dared to kill them, but they did not. Is there no other way? I've even taken out the rank 4 divine weapon that the Peak Lord gave me as a reward. Am I really unable to do anything to that bastard who killed my brother? There is a way. At this time, Zhang Jiuxiao, who was also in the hall, suddenly spoke. He stared at Bai Yu with sparkling eyes. It depends on whether you are willing to take the risk. Bai Yu's eyes widened in shock, and a ferocious expression appeared on her face. What method? Speak. As long as I can avenge my brother and kill that little bastard, I won't hesitate to go bankrupt. Zhang Jiuxiao glanced at the others in the hall. You guys go down. When most of the people in the hall had left, he said slowly, by chance I got to know the master of the Dragon Whale Island. Dragon Whale Island? The Dragon Whale Island Lord ranked 633rd on the Overseas Divine Dragon ranking. Not bad. The Divine Dragon list is a list compiled by the Divine Dragon Pavilion for the overseas forces. There are a total of 1,000 people on the list. More than 80% of those on the list are immortal stage 4 giants of the spirit and chi uniting realm. That Dragon Whale Island Lord. The Dragon Whale Island Lord had already stepped into the realm of spirit and chi unification more than 80 years ago. Good. 9 firmaments. You were able to get the Dragon Whale Island Master to take action. Although I've met the Dragon Whale Island Lord once, I don't have enough face for him to take the risk of going to the mainland to help me. Zhang Jiuxiao said. As Zhang Jiuxiao spoke, he saw that Bai Yu's expression had turned rather ugly. He hurriedly added, however, the Dragon Whale Island Lord would hold a treasure presentation ceremony on his island every 10 years. All the forces under his jurisdiction would have to offer up their treasures. If anyone's treasure is the best, they would be able to make a request of him. You mean if I can offer a treasure that satisfies him, he can help me kill Cho Tsinghui once? Although Cho Tsinghui has a peak spirit refining realm guard by his side, if the Dragon Whale Island Lord is willing to take action, killing him won't be a difficult matter. It's just that going deep into the mainland will be a little dangerous. Good. Bai Yu said without hesitation, I'm willing to offer my rank 4 divine weapon to the Dragon Whale Island Lord and ask him to take action. Even if it means colluding with overseas forces, I won't hesitate. Zhang Jiuxiao shook his head. Miss, you've misunderstood me. The Dragon Whale Island Lord may not take such a huge risk for a mere low-grade rank 4 divine weapon. The generous gift I'm talking about is something else. From what I know, the Dragon Whale Island Lord's grandson has been tested to have incomparably high talent. The Dragon Whale Island Lord has put in a lot of effort to nurture him, but the cultivation methods of overseas rogue cultivators are limited. No matter how good one's talent is, without a corresponding cultivation method, it's a waste. Miss is highly regarded by the Sky Origin Peak Master and had the fortune of reading the Black Hole Sutra Awakening Method, right? Although you've only read it and it's definitely not complete, if Miss is willing to offer the Black Hole Sutra Awakening Method to the Dragon Whale Island Lord. Shut up. Before Zhang Jiuxiao could finish his words, Bai Yu had already interrupted him. That's our Hunyuan Heavenly Sect Supreme Cultivation Method. If people find out that I was the one who spread it out, even if I escape to the ends of the earth, only death will await me. Zhang Jiuxiao shook his head. Tsinghui has a peak spirit refining expert by his side, and we're unable to recruit more spirit refining experts in a short period of time. Then there's no other way. The Dragon Whale Island Lord will present his treasure in 3 months. Miss, do you want to use this method or not? Please give me a reply within 3 months. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that Bai Yu's side had been calm for 3 whole days, Tsinghui and Yin Huang did not stay any longer. They returned the soaring sky sword and bid farewell to Nalan Fei before boarding the Dragoncry Islands warship that had just been repaired and headed overseas. Although Nalan Fei also had a warship, it was purchased by the Hunyuan heavenly sect. On the other hand, the warships of the 10 Holy Lands were equivalent to live targets if they rashly entered the sea. It would already be a miracle if they could travel 10,000 li without being shot down. The warship's speed in the void was extremely fast. It could travel 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers in a day. In addition, the Lorraine Kingdom was close to the sea. After traveling for half a day, a vast sea appeared in front of them. At a glance, it was boundless, with no end in sight. "I wonder how vast this sea is," Ching Su said sincerely as he stood on the deck and looked at the glistening surface of the sea below. Compared to Earth, this continent's area was too large. It was so large that it almost subverted the 3 views he had established on Earth. In fact, 1,000 li offshore, strictly speaking, can't be considered as an overseas sphere of influence. The island lords and forces that live in this area more or less have some connection with the mainland. After 1,000 li from the mainland, it is truly overseas. Moreover, the further you go, the more dangerous it is, and the more chaotic the order is. Yan Huang introduced from the side. "How far is Color Glass Island from the Lorraine Kingdom?" Although Color Glass Island belongs to the overseas sphere of influence, that's because I lived on that island since I was young. In fact, our Color Glass Island has no conflict with the Hunyuan heavenly sect. It's just that our ancestor offended a true disciple of the Create Evolve mystical sect 1,000 years ago and had no choice but to flee here. The Create Evolve mystical sect was the #1 sect in the Eastern Wilderness. It dominated the world and ruled the Eastern Wilderness. The entire Eastern Wilderness was covered by the Create Evolve mystical sect's subordinate forces. It could be said that apart from the Wuji Sword sect, the Hunyuan heavenly sect, the Qingquan sacred land, the 6 paths of divinity and demons, and the Shunshao sword sect, the Create Evolve mystical sect could easily destroy any force, including the Jin Wu religion, the Pharaoh sect, the Green Lotus Sword sect, and the giant Dragon Mountain range. Not defeat, but destroy. From this, one could see how powerful the Create Evolve mystical sect was. The Wuji Sword sect and the Hunyuan heavenly sect had formed an alliance, while the Qingquan sacred land, the 6 paths of divinity and demons, and the Shunshao sword sect had formed an alliance. The 2 alliances had to maintain a strategic unity to slightly balance the arrogance of the Create Evolve mystical sect. It was precisely because of the Create Evolve mystical sect's domineering strength that countless forces had to flee overseas. This caused more than 60% of the overseas forces to have enmity with the Create Evolve mystical sect. The Create Evolve mystical sect's disciples shouldn't dare to rashly go overseas, right? Don't dare? Yan Huang smiled bitterly. "Young master, you're underestimating the tyranny of the Create Evolve mystical sect. The Hunyuan heavenly sect and the Wuji sword sect's territories are slightly better, but the Create Evolve mystical sect has already occupied the territories of the Qingquan sacred land, the Shunshao sword sect, the Pharaoh sect, and the Green Lotus sword sect. The Create Evolve mystical sect used the slogan of annihilating the overseas forces to build countless gates of creation of various sizes in the territories under their jurisdiction. Each gate of creation is a large-scale formation. As long as it's controlled by a spirit-refining expert, it can withstand the attack of a spirit-chi unity expert. It's said that the Create Evolve mystical sect's territory has a radius of 30,000 kilometers, and there are no less than 10,000 gates of creation of various sizes. A radius of 30,000 kilometers? More than 10,000 gates of creation. Yan Huang nodded and smiled bitterly. That's right. In fact, if it weren't for the Wuji sword sect, the Hunyuan heavenly sect, the Qingquan sacred land, the 6 paths of divinity and demons, and the Shunshao sword sect's sage experts, the Create Evolve mystical sect could beat all the forces in the Eastern Wilderness. Tsing Hui's expression froze. Of course, the Create Evolve mystical sect has a huge business and has always dreamed of unifying the Eastern Wilderness. However, they also have many enemies. For example, the bounty for a true disciple of the Create Evolved mystical sect is slightly higher than that for a true disciple of the other 9 sacred lands. Bounty. We thought for a moment. Is the bounty high? Many forces in the outer seas have a death grudge with the Create Evolved mystical sect. As long as you bring the head of an awakening stage true disciple to these islands, regardless of whether that true disciple is innocent or not, you will be able to receive a low-grade Tier 2 divine weapon. As for the true disciples of the other sacred lands, the bounty is only worth a high-grade Tier 1 divine weapon. Moreover, it's not easy to receive the bounty. As Yin Huang spoke, he added, the 10 great sacred lands also have a bounty for the heads of many island masters and experts from overseas. However, these bounties are targeted and the price is also higher. This is also the reason why the true disciples of the 10 great sacred lands would still come overseas despite knowing the dangers overseas. Xinghui nodded. Yin Huang once again introduced some basic knowledge of the outer seas to Xinghui. In the end, he added, Color Glass Island is not far from the Hunyuan Heavenly Sex Land. It's less than 20,000 kilometers away, and you can reach it in 4 days. During this time, young master can have a good rest. Chapter 90. After knowing Yin Huang for so many days, Xinghui only thought that Luli Island was just a small island. After all, according to Yin Huang's tone, Luli Island didn't seem to be anything. But when he really came to Luli Island, he found that this was not a small island, but a continent. The entire island covered an area of 130,000 square kilometers, with a population of 140,000. There were 18 cities of various sizes and hundreds of small villages and towns. The 18 cities were divided into 9 upper cities with a population of 1 million and a lower city with a population of 300,000. Among them, Luli City with a population of nearly 2 million was the central core of this island. Yin Huang was the city lord of Luli City and the island master of Luli Island. It was unknown what method Blazing Glory used to inform the people of Color Glass Island, but when the Green Ruins warship flew to Color Glass Island actually raised 12 warships to escort it. At the same time, there was also a team of elite guards made up of hundreds of Awakening Realm powerhouses riding flying ferocious beasts on both sides of the warship. When the warship landed at Luli Island's airport, there was an elite army of no less than 10,000 people outside the airport, tightly guarding the entire airport. As far as the eye could see, banners blotted out the sky and flowers were everywhere. Countless people in luxurious robes stood on the 2 sides. This scene made Qing Su sense Yin Huang's supreme authority on Colored Glass Island. Gongzi, please. When the carpet on the ground leading to the city lord's mansion was laid, Yin Huang came in front of Xinghui and gestured with his hand. At that moment, Xinghui took the lead to get off the warship, followed by Yin Huang. The moment the two of them disembarked from the battleship, the several hundred officials, guards of honor, and soldiers waiting outside called out at the same time, "Welcome back, young Master Qing Su. Welcome back, Island Master." The sound was like thunder, resounding for 10. Li Xinghui looked around. In addition to the hundreds of elite flying squad from before, there were also hundreds of Awakening Realm cultivators. In addition to these Awakening Realm cultivators, there were also many true Qi Realm experts. Xinghui looked at the officials below and saw no less than 30 people. The leader was a middle-aged man in armor and an old man in a scholar's robe. They had already reached the spirit-refining realm like Yin Huang. Luli Island has so many experts in one city? Xinghui was somewhat surprised. Luli City is the core of Luli Island. Naturally, elites gather there. However, the other 8 city lords are all spirit-refining realm experts. In other words, Luli Island has more than 10 spirit-refining realm cultivators. Including me, Luli Island has a total of 13 spirit-refining realm cultivators. However, overseas and inland are different, or rather, overseas cultivators are different from inland cultivators. Inland is relatively peaceful. Cultivators have a stable cultivation environment. They will think about polishing their realm to perfection. But overseas, there are many forces, organizations, and experts that live today but know tomorrow. No one knows what kind of fate they will face in the future. What they pursue is realms and actual combat. Speaking till here, Yan Huang gave a simple analogy. It's like having two choices. One requires a lot of resources and more than 10 years to cultivate spirit-grade true qi. The other is that you can immediately break through to the true qi realm. But what you cultivate is the most ordinary true qi. Inland cultivators may choose to continue polishing their true qi for the sake of their future, but overseas, they would not hesitate to cultivate their true qi. After all, with more than 10 years, the cultivator who cultivated ordinary true qi would have already reached the large success stage. Their strength would only be stronger than those who cultivated spirit-grade true qi. When Qingsu heard that, he more or less gained an understanding of the cruelty of the overseas cultivation world. He glanced at the two spirit-refining cultivators again. Xing Hui threw an identification technique on the elder who seemed to have a higher cultivation. Name: unknown. Cultivation realm: Qi into aura. Attack level: 31. Defense level: 31. Speed level: 30. Spirit level: 32. This value, compared to Tuing, Wang Zhe, and Chao Zhendao, it was 1 or 2 points lower. Looking at this elder's age, he should have been in the spirit-refining realm for more than 10 years. As for why his cultivation did not improve, Berserk Beast Bloodline, potential exhausted. Berserk Beasts, Spirit Beasts, Sacred Beasts, Divine Beasts, all of them have an upper limit. No matter how much they cultivate, their strength will not exceed the upper limit of the bloodline they awaken. Just like a cultivator who awakened the Golden Crow bloodline, he will never be stronger than a real Golden Crow. Other than a few mutated Berserk Beasts and the King of Berserk Beasts, even the strongest Berserk Beasts could only reach the 6th level of the Immortal Realm. Some of the weaker Berserk Beasts could only reach the 3rd or 4th level of the Immortal Realm. Do you have any sword forging formulas here? Sword forging formulas are easy to obtain. Every sword forging master has at least 8,000 sword forging formulas in their mind. Otherwise, they would not be qualified to be a sword forging master. The key is the grade of the materials in our hands and the grade of the divine weapon that young master intends to forge. The people overseas place more emphasis on cultivation, but they are not proficient in alchemy, refining tools, formations, and the like. If young master wants to forge a 4th level divine sword, there are only a few people overseas who have the ability to do so. Moreover, their fees are all extremely high. Pass down the order. Collect the sword forging formulas for the 4th, 5th, and 6th level divine swords that are easier to obtain. We'll go look at the materials now. 4th level, 5th level, 6th level. Yan Huang was secretly in awe. He recognized this master. His heart was not small. In addition, collect the armor formula as well. It should be at least 5th level. You want to collect armors too? Yan Huang was slightly startled. It was not easy to find a sword forging master. As for the armor, wait a minute, it seemed that young master did not even ask about a sword forging master. He did not need a sword forging master. At this thought, a shocking guess immediately surged into his mind. Could it be the divine protection technique that Sons of Chaos can learn at the 15th level? When this thought appeared, Yan Huang felt that his thoughts had slowed down by a beat. Xing Hui was a 15th level Son of Chaos. One had to know that the highest level of chaos in the entire Eastern Wilderness was only the 16th level. Now, Xing Hui's level had reached the 15th level. It was unbelievable just thinking about it. Yan Huang lowered his head slightly, suppressing the shock in his heart. If Xing Hui was really a 15th level chaos, his future achievements would not be as simple as what they were now. The immortality realm, or even the saint realm, might not be impossible. During this period of time, He had some understanding of Tsing Hui's character. He was not a harsh person. Following such a genius with limitless potential might even be an opportunity in his life. But whether or not Tsing Hui was a 15th level son of chaos with the divine protection technique would have to wait until he gathered the materials and forged a suitable divine weapon. Under Yin Huang's lead, Tsing Hui went straight to the core treasure trove of the city lord's mansion. Before long, one divine weapon after another appeared in front of Tsing Hui, along with high-quality pills, armor, and secret arts. Although Yin Huang was the island master of Color Glass Island and had cultivated Saint-grade stellar energy, the limits of his cultivation meant that he could not obtain anything beyond the 4th level. Even the Tier 4 high-grade mystic water armor he was wearing had been obtained by exchanging it with a treasure that could carry the Tao. It often required immense luck. For example, he had cultivated for nearly 100 years, but he had only obtained 2 treasures that could carry the Tao. And this was because he was the island master of Color Glass Island and had countless subordinates at his disposal. Dragon Scale Rock, Sky Blue Stone, Flame Astral Rock. These 3 types of ores have the highest value and are all materials used to forge 6th level divine weapons. However, if I want to forge a 6th level divine weapon with just these materials, it's a little too little. From the looks of it, I can only forge a 5th level divine weapon. A 5th level divine weapon that completely matches my attributes wouldn't be any weaker than a 6th level divine weapon. Young Master's body contains fire attribute True Qi, so a divine weapon forged will mainly be of the fire attribute. This Crimson Dragon Sword's forging technique is most suitable. Among the 3 most precious ores we have, Dragon Scale Stone can increase the toughness of the Crimson Dragon Sword, Celestial Stone can increase the sword's speed, and Flame Astral Stone can increase the damage of fire attribute True Qi. In addition, the Crimson Dragon Blood and Profound Gold Stone are only 5th level materials. We can buy them from the market. Materials are different from divine weapons. The price of materials of the same level is usually less than 1% of the price of a complete divine weapon. Buy with Spirit Stones. Spirit Stones are treasures that can only be used when one has reached the True Qi realm. Spirit Stones contain spiritual force, and absorbing them can increase one's cultivation speed. Qing Su remembered that a single Class 1 God artifact was worth 10 spiritual stones on the market, and the number of spiritual stones required for each Class 1 God artifact increased by 30 times. 100,000 spiritual stones could be regarded as a huge sum of money. Can Color Glass Island take out this amount of spirit stones? Colored Glass Island doesn't have any precious resources. Their annual income is around 4,000 spirit stones. However, I have some things on me that can be sold as collateral. It won't be difficult to gather 100,000 spirit stones. Tsing Hui nodded. Yin Huang was someone who had obtained the wealth of 2 Qingming realm cultivators. Although he had only obtained a small portion of it, and most of it was spent on holy grade astral qi, it was enough for him to possess wealth that far exceeded that of ordinary spirit refining realm cultivators. Then, there's no time to lose. The sea is so big, there should be a market. Go personally and buy it. If you can forge this divine weapon in half a month, we will have an easier time facing Lai Wuyan. Forging a divine weapon in half a month. Hearing Tsing Hui's words, Yin Huang couldn't help but believe that he was a 15th rank son of chaos. He immediately said, "That's good." The nearest market to our Color Glass Island is the Sea God Island. Although the Sea God Island is close to the mainland, its scale is huge. In addition, there are several Spirit and Qi Unity Realm cultivators overseeing the island. From time to time, there are even people from the mainland who bring things that are difficult to sell to the Sea God Island to sell. I will go and buy the things that young master wants. If it's fast, it will only take 5 to 6 days for a round trip. Tsing Hui nodded. Introduce someone to me. I plan to stay overseas for a period of time and need to know more about this place. A son of chaos with no background staying overseas is indeed safer than the mainland, which is protected by the 10 great sections. I will arrange it for young master. Yin Zhong will listen to young master's orders for the next few days. Chapter 91. Sir, this is the crimson dragon blood and profound gold stone. Soon, Yin Huang brought the two materials to Tsing Hui. Good. Tsing Hui did not waste time. I've already asked Yin Zhong to raise the furnace. We're just waiting for your materials. Raise the furnace. Even though Yin Huang had expected this, he could not help but tremble when he heard Tsing Hui say it. Sir, are you planning to forge your own sword? Tsing Hui nodded. Immediately, Yin Huang no longer had any doubts about the guess in his heart. He was so excited that he was trembling slightly. Our glazed island's sword-casting furnace is only able to forge level 4 divine weapons at most. Even though it can barely forge level 5 divine weapons, that's only up to the standard of forging level 5 divine weapons. Young Master is able to forge divine weapons with such a sword-casting furnace. Could it be that you want to borrow the benefits of the divine blessing technique? It's the divine protection technique. Tsing Hui knew what Yin Huang was excited about. There's no harm in telling you. You just have to remember not to spread the news. Yes, yes, yes. Yin Huang hurriedly agreed respectfully. At the same time, he raised his hand and swore, I promise you, sir, if this news spreads, I'll be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Tsing Hui nodded. Sir, since you have such a high level of chaos, why don't you create your own chaos organization? You have to know that every son of chaos is comparable to a genius. Even those mediocre level 1 chaos people can become geniuses with the help of a son of chaos. If you can create a chaos organization and pull these people to your side, then slowly gain their loyalty, they'll be the first batch of core members when you want to establish your own sect. Yin Huang suggested, for example, the Shunshao sword sect, which is currently advancing extremely quickly and can be said to be like the sun in the midday sky, is the best representative of the 10 great sacred sections. The Shunshao sword sect. You're saying that it isn't just the Shunshao sword sect, but the other sacred grounds as well? Yes, and they might join an even stronger chaos organization. In the Eastern Wilderness, they're only a part of these chaos organizations. If necessary, I'll consider it. Tsing Hui felt a little troubled. Compared to creating a chaos organization, he was more inclined to join a powerful chaos organization, as long as that chaos organization could bring him convenience. Yes, Yin Huang was good at reading people's expressions, so he naturally saw that Tsing Hui didn't have such intentions. He felt regretful in his heart, but it wasn't good to say anything. Very quickly, the two of them arrived at the sword-casting furnace. Tsing Hui ordered Yin Huang to stand guard outside, and then went to the sword-casting furnace that had already lit up. He carefully recalled the steps of forging the crimson dragon sword, and then dragon scale stone, sky blue stone, flame star stone, crimson dragon blood, profound gold stone, and a drop of crimson sun true chi were all thrown into the furnace. If any other swordsmiths were to see this kind of swordsmithing technique, they would definitely jump up and point at him, accusing him of wasting natural resources and materials. However, he had the divine protection spell, so he didn't need to care about these details. As long as the materials were gathered and the sword forging formula was correct, the next step. Whoosh! As Tsing Hui activated the divine protection spell, an extremely pure primal chaos force was injected into the sword-casting furnace. Immediately, the sword-casting furnace, which could only burn with platinum flames, shone brightly, and a crimson gold spirit fire actually appeared inside. In an instant, all the materials were completely melted and forged. The crimson gold spirit fire burned fiercely, and after half an hour, it gradually extinguished. When the terrifying heat gradually dissipated, a dark red sword appeared in front of him. Even the process of forging a sword mold was saved. This divine protection spell. While Tsing Hui once again felt the profoundness of the Son of Chaos's many skills, he couldn't wait to step forward and hold the still blazing crimson dragon sword in his hand. Fortunately, he cultivated Crimson Sun True Chi and awakened the Golden Crow bloodline. Although he hadn't cultivated the golden crow battle body to the point where he didn't fear flames, the terrifying heat of the crimson dragon sword could still be resisted by his true chi. Because the materials used to forge the sword contained his blood essence and Crimson Sun true chi, the moment the crimson dragon sword touched his hand, he immediately felt a connection with it. The perfect compatibility between the sword and the person was even better than the Great One sword that he had used the level-up technique to upgrade. Chi. Xing Hui infused the Crimson Sun true chi, and the dark red crimson dragon sword exploded with dazzling sword light. It was like a layer of stellar energy attached to the sword, and it emitted rolling heat waves. If this layer of heat waves were to spread freely in the forest, it would be enough to cause a forest fire out of thin air. Good, this sword has been infused with my Crimson Sun true chi. Under the stimulation of my Crimson Sun true chi, it's equivalent to the power of a 5th grade high-grade divine weapon. If it's an ordinary fire attribute true chi, it's at most equivalent to a 5th grade low-grade divine weapon. It's not an exaggeration to call this divine weapon an exclusive divine weapon. Xing Hui looked at the crimson dragon sword, and he was very satisfied. The Shakyamuni, Hall Masters, and Peak Masters of the 10 Great Sacred Sects might be able to wield 5th grade divine weapons, but they might not be able to reach the 5th grade high grade. As for the overseas forces, even among the Green Netherworld Realm experts, less than half of them possessed 5th grade divine weapons, and more than 90% of them used 5th grade low-grade divine weapons. Pa! Xing Hui pushed open the door of the furnace. Yin Huang, who was waiting outside, immediately turned around with a face full of surprise. Young master, in the next moment his gaze had already landed on the crimson dragon sword, and his eyes immediately widened. This is the crimson dragon sword? It's completed? Xing Hui nodded. It's actually so fast. Even a 5th-level swordsmith would have to spend at least 10 days to half a month to forge a 4th-level god artifact. As for a 5th-level god artifact, it would have to depend on fate and luck. Right now, the profoundness of the divine protection technique is not something we can imagine. All right, my divine sword has just been forged, and I need to test its power. You can do it. Is there a suitable place? Yes, young master, please follow me. Even though Yin Huang had personally witnessed a Green Netherworld Realm expert fighting with a 5th grade divine weapon, those 5th grade divine weapons were only middle grade and low grade. This was the first time he had seen a 5th grade divine weapon. Under Yin Huang's lead, the two of them quickly arrived at the training grounds of the City Lord's mansion. This martial arts practice field was the size of a small football field. The ground was made of extremely sturdy jade corundum stone, and the surroundings were completely sealed. Even if a true Chi Realm expert were to fight inside, they would not be able to cause any damage to the martial arts practice field. I don't want others to see the power of the Crimson Dragon Sword. Stepping into the training ground, Xing Hui said. Immediately, Yin Huang summoned Yin Zhong and ordered him to stand guard outside the training ground. He then stood in front of Xing Hui and activated the mystic water armor at the first moment, looking as if he was about to face a great enemy. Against a 5th grade divine weapon, no matter how careful one was, one could never be too careful. I'm going to strike, Xing Hui said, and in the next moment, the crimson dragon sword pierced out like lightning. Fast. When Xing Hui really pierced out with the crimson dragon sword, he truly felt the increase in speed. With this increase, the speed of his sword was increased by 20%, causing his swordsmanship to become even sharper. Not only was it fast, but as he infused his Crimson Yang true chi, the crimson dragon's sword shone with a blazing light, as if it had turned into a layer of sword energy. Moreover, this layer of sword energy was perfectly compatible with his Crimson Yang true chi, giving him a feeling that he was almost at the level of spirit and chi as one. Bang! 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 The divine sword and Yin Huang's gloves instantly clashed together, and a series of metallic clangs could be heard. As Xing Hui continued to strike, the speed of the sword became faster and faster, and the sword energy became stronger and stronger. The changes in the sword energy and the circulation of true qi also became smoother and smoother. In fact, this sword seemed to have turned into an extension of his true qi and thoughts. In a single exchange, the sharp sword left his hand and stabbed out, and then returned to his hand like a flying sword. The power and mystery of a fifth-grade divine weapon were vividly displayed in his hands. "Stop! Stop! Young master, please stop!" Just as Tsing Hui was exploring the mysteries of this fifth-grade divine weapon to his heart's content, Yan Huang couldn't help but shout. As Tsing Hui recovered from that carefree and unrestrained sword strike, his gaze once again fell on Yan Huang. He was shocked to find that the mystic water armor on Yan Huang's body had already been destroyed by him, and even the fourth-grade gloves on his hands had a crack. If it wasn't repaired quickly, it would be in danger of being destroyed. Yan Huang's true qi was also severely depleted, and he was panting heavily. Tsing Hui carefully thought about it, and very soon he understood something. This Crimson Dragon sword increased my attack by 12 levels. If I can make a breakthrough in my sword intent, my mental strength will be able to reach level 50 and above, and my attack will be increased to level 13. Tsing Hui looked at the divine sword in his hands with a strange look in his eyes. With his current attack, the 5th-grade Crimson Dragon sword should be able to increase his attack from level 7 to level 14, and a 5th-grade divine weapon was usually meant for Qingming realm cultivators. Only Qingming realm cultivators could unleash its full power. Tsing Hui was only in the true qi realm, yet he was able to increase his attack by 12 levels, causing his attack to increase from level 34 to level 45. It could be seen how powerful this divine weapon was. Congratulations to young master for obtaining a divine weapon. With this divine weapon, young master only needs to take the initiative to attack. Under the spirit refining realm, no one would be able to block young master's sword. After Yan Huang took a deep breath, he quickly cupped his hands towards Tsing Hui and congratulated him. "Take the initiative to attack." Tsing Hui nodded. The Crimson Dragon sword increased his attack and not his defense or speed. If those peak spirit refining realm cultivators were to attack first, he would not be able to use his sword in time. No matter how high his attack was, no matter how sharp his divine weapon was, it would be useless. At that time, with his pitiful defense and reaction speed, he would not be able to fight against a peak spirit refining realm cultivator. But if he were to attack first, it would be different under the explosion of the sword. As long as they were not like Yan Huang, who was wearing a 4th-grade armor, almost no one would be able to block it. Even Yan Huang, who had yet to master his earth qi, might not be able to block the Crimson Dragon sword with his black water armor. With this sword, we have a higher chance of killing Lai Wuyang. Tsing Hui said, "Not bad. Moreover, with the power of this sword, we might be able to use another method to kill Lai Wuyang." "Oh, young master should know that the amulet on Lai Wuyang's body contains 1/10 of the power of an elite at the peak of the Green Hell realm. Its power is roughly equivalent to an all-out attack from an elite at the early stage of the Green Hell realm. Based on Laiji Shakyamuni's spiritual grade gang qi and his spiritual grade incantation, the power of his attack should be around 51 to 54. Young master, with the Crimson Dragon sword in your hand and the divine grade incantation, you might be able to counter that attack." Chapter 92. 51 to 54. Tsing Hui frowned. After cultivating the Crimson Yangzhen Qi, his attack level had already reached the 34th level. With the help of the divine technique and the Crimson Dragon sword, his attack level could reach the 50th level. As for the Sword of the Glorious Sun, its power was linked to Zhun Qi and sword intent. According to the power when it broke the black water armor, it increased the attack by 4 levels. This way, it was enough to fight an attack with an attack. The power contained within the amulet is not inferior to the full power strike of an early-stage blue Netherrealm expert. However, it is not a true early-stage blue Netherrealm expert after all. If it was a true early-stage blue Netherrealm expert, he would not have fought you head-on. He would have relied on his advantage in speed to stop you first. However, the power of the amulet is relatively inflexible. As long as you attack Lai Wuyang with your sword, the amulet will activate and protect Lai Wuyang. It will definitely use all its power to block your sword. At that time, the power of the amulet will naturally collapse. You're thinking too simply. In order to cultivate the 6 elements true fire, Lai Wuyang didn't hesitate to go overseas. It can be seen that her cultivation has already reached the peak of the true energy realm. I don't need to say more about the level of cultivation of a person with perfect divine grade true chi. Adding on the fact that she's the daughter of the Golden Crow, Shakyamuni Lai Ji, the number of divine weapons in her possession is definitely not few. With your cultivation, not to mention capturing her alive, whether or not you can even defeat her is still a question. Xinghui said, a divine grade Jin Qi cultivator, she could often fight with someone above her level. Once I use that sword art of mine, I will use up all my Jin Qi and won't be able to fight anymore. Then what do you mean? In the past few days, I have learned about the conflict between the overseas forces and the 10 great saint sections. I found that the Jinwu religion also has a lot of enemies overseas. Among them, there is an island close to Longluo Bay called Xianming Island. The owner of the island has a great hatred for the Jinwu religion. We can only use the wolf to devour the tiger to wear down the power of the Jinwu religion and see if we could take advantage of it. Xianming Island, that's one of the top overlords in this ocean region. They're at level 4 of the immortal realm. They're ranked 804 on the Divine Dragon leaderboard. If we tell Xianming Island about this, I'm afraid we won't be able to do anything. From Yin Huang's words, it was clear that he was extremely fearful of the profound underworld island master. This is the only way. All right, send the news to Island Master Xianming. Yin Huang frowned. In the end, he could only nod and say, all right, we'll do as young master says. Blazing Glory was very efficient. Island Master Xian Ming only took a day to receive the news from Blazing Glory through a secret channel. However, as an overlord, although Island Master Xian Ming hated the Jinwu religion, one of the 10 great holy sects, he was able to survive until now and build up such a large business overseas because he had always been cautious. When he received the news, he did not take any action. Instead, he sent more people to investigate the authenticity and source of the news. When the deadline of half a month was up, the daughter of the Jinwu religions, Shakyamuni, Lai Wuyang, set off for Longluo Bay. The exact news was placed on Island Master Xianming's desk. Island Master, this is all the information we've gathered these days. In front of Island Master Xianming, his right-hand man, Flying Flood Dragon, stood respectfully. Island Master of Colored Glaze, Island, son of Yin Fei. What's his name? Yin Lai? A very ambitious little guy. Why did he leak this information to us? This subordinate has investigated. Colored Glaze Island and Creation Mysterious Sect have enmity, but it doesn't seem to have any enmity with the Jinwu religion. Then what's their motive? This subordinate is ashamed. Island Master Xianming took the report and flipped through it for a moment before putting it down again. Did any experts come to Colored Glaze Island recently? No, the experts of Colored Glaze Island haven't changed at all. There hasn't been any large-scale mobilization of troops. Lightning Flash paused for a moment, as if he had thought of something. He suddenly said, not long ago, Colored Glaze Island took the initiative to use a lot of manpower to welcome a young man named Cho Tsinghui. However, according to our many inquiries, that Cho Tsinghui is only at the True Chi realm. True Chi realm? Island Master Xianming's heart moved, as if he had thought of something. Did you find out what kind of technique Cho Tsinghui cultivates? Or the attribute of his True Chi? Time is of the essence. We have no way of knowing what kind of technique he cultivates, but we can confirm that his True Chi is of the fire attribute. Island Master Xianming smiled when he heard this. I might have guessed what Colored Glaze Island's Yin Lai, or that Cho Tsinghui is planning. Fire, attribute, True Chi. Island Master is saying they are after the Great Sun Golden Crow technique on Lai Wuyang. This This is only one of the possibilities. However, it doesn't matter. Even if Colored Glaze Island wants to make a move, can they shake our Xianming Island? Have people pay close attention to the movements of Colored Glaze Island's people. Once they mobilize their troops, inform me immediately. Also, have my 14 Shadow Guards and the other 9 city lords arrived? They have all arrived. They will listen to Island Master's orders at any time. Lai Weiyang has already rushed to Longluo Bay. Listen to my orders. 14 Shadow Guards and 9 city lords. Move out and follow me to Longluo Bay. It doesn't matter if that Colored Glaze Island Master wants to drive the wolf to devour the tiger for the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, or if he has other motives. I will definitely kill this true disciple of the Jin Wu religion. I will let anyone from the Jin Wu religion understand that destroying my profound dark sect is the biggest mistake they have made in their lives. Starfire Flowing Light, Sword of the Glorious Sun. These were currently the 2 most powerful sword moves that Xing Hui had mastered. Among them, the Sword of the Glorious Sun was extremely powerful. It required one to use all the true qi in one's body. Its power was linked to true qi and sword intent. It was a killing move that could grow along with one's cultivation. As for Starfire Flowing Light, it was a sword technique that used astral qi. Qing Su possessed level 4 comprehension and level 3 talent for the way of the sword, so he cultivated the 13 swords of burning heaven extremely quickly. However, he had yet to cultivate aura in the past, so the power of the Starfire stream was not very obvious compared to the first sword of the 13 swords of burning heaven. However, now that he had the Crimson Dragon Sword, relying on this high-grade rank 5 divine sword, the Crimson Yang Qi in his body was not like astral qi. Instead, it was even stronger than astral qi. Naturally, he could better display the might of this sword. Young Master. Just when Xing Hui was cultivating, Yan Huang's voice sounded from outside. The people from Xianming Island have moved out. Xianming Island Master is personally leading the team. The 9 city lords are moving out at the same time. Accompanying them are the 14 Shadow Guards that Xianming Island Master has carefully cultivated. A total of 23 spirit refining cultivators. Xing Hui finished comprehending the sword and opened the door. All right, let's go. Young Master, I'm afraid that the rest of our Colored Glaze Island should not act rashly. Xianming Island is worried that our Colored Glaze Island is deceitful and had 3 spirit refining cultivators secretly monitor our Colored Glaze Island. If at this time, our Colored Glaze Island also comes out in full force, in order to prevent future troubles, Xianming Island will most likely turn around and destroy our Colored Glaze Island before killing Lai Weiyang. No matter, Lai Weiyang and Xianming Island Master are not weak. Although there are many spirit refining cultivators in Glazed Island, they will not be of much use in a battle of this level. The 2 of us can just sneak over secretly. With just the 2 of us, the target is much smaller. Naturally, we can avoid being monitored by the 3 spirit refining cultivators of Xianming Island. In addition, I will let my substitute appear from time to time to confuse the spies of Xianming Island to ensure that nothing goes wrong. It's good that you can consider it thoroughly. Yan Huang took out 2 pearls and said, Young Master, this is a water-splitting pearl. It has the effect of repelling water. Although it's not expensive, it's very rare. We'll go around from the bottom of the sea to an island 100 kilometers away. I've already arranged 2 flying beasts there. This way, we can definitely hide from Xianming Island spies. All right, Xing Hui nodded. He did not need to worry about Yan Huang's work. Xianming Island spies in Glazed Island would only monitor Yan Huang. Yan Huang had a substitute, which was enough to fool them. As for Xing Hui, a true Qi realm cultivator, how many people would put him in their eyes? The 2 of them immediately dived into the sea with the water-splitting pearl. Once they entered the sea, the water within a radius of 2 meters around the pearl was pushed away by an invisible force. Xing Hui was secretly amazed. Together with Yan Huang, they quickly advanced under the sea. After advancing for 100 kilometers, they arrived at an island. They changed into two awakening realm beasts and soared into the sky, flying straight towards Longluo Bay. In the sky above Longluo Bay, a warship was riding the wind and breaking the waves, quickly passing through the sea of clouds. Their destination was a newly formed volcanic island in the center of Longluo Bay. "Young miss, our trip is a bit risky." On the deck of the warship, an old man with wrinkles on his face looked at the young girl beside him, who was wearing a fiery red dress and was full of sexy aura. He was worried. This young girl was Lai Wuyang, the daughter of the Jin Wu religion's law king, Lai Ji. Longluo Bay is only 20,000 kilometers inland. Our modified cloud-piercing warship can fly at full speed and return in 2 days and nights. Moreover, there are actually no top powerhouses in the sea within 30,000 kilometers. There are only a few who have reached the spirit and chi unification realm. If they really dare to come, it's more than enough to deal with them with Father's special protection talisman. The young girl said disapprovingly, "Since they dare to come, they'll naturally be prepared. Then, let me see what kind of experts are in the dangerous sea that you and Father described." The young girl's eyes were full of fighting spirit. Since her debut, she had experienced countless big and small fights. Not to mention the true Qi realm. Even the number of spirit-refining realm cultivators that died in her hands had exceeded 2 digits. Now that she was at the crucial moment of cultivating the divine grade Earth Qi, she was full of confidence. She felt that the world was so big that she could go anywhere she wanted. But the sea? Isn't there still Lai Ping and the 6 guard that Father sent to me? With your cultivation of spirit-grade Earth Qi in them, it won't be a problem for you to go anywhere within 6,000 miles of Longluo Bay. After Lai Wuyang finished speaking, seeing that the old man still wanted to say something, she waved her hand impatiently. "All right, I've made up my mind. No matter what, I have to take this opportunity to cultivate divine-grade Earth Qi and become the only saintess of the Jin Wu religion." Relying on these formations, they can only attack others while others cannot attack them. Take Create, Evolve, Mysterious Sex, most common formation, the Gate of Fortune, as an example. This formation is controlled by a spirit-refining expert and requires a spirit and Qi unity realm overlord to break through. Moreover, it requires a lot of time. If 10 spirit-refining experts were to control the formation at the same time, that spirit and Qi unity realm overlord would not be able to break through the formation even after 10 days or half a month. And in that time, Create, Evolve, Mysterious Sex reinforcements would have arrived long ago. Yin Huang looked at Lai Wuyang, who was borrowing the might of the formation to fight against Xianming Island, and sighed from the bottom of his heart. Monopoly. Monopoly of techniques, resources, formations. No wonder other than the son of primal chaos, ordinary loose cultivators who did not join the 10 great sects would have no chance to make a name for themselves. Truly worthy of being the daughter of a law king. 4th rank high-grade defensive armor and a 4th rank high-grade divine sword. TSK. This Lai Wuyang is only in the true Qi realm, but she already has 2 4th rank high-grade divine weapons. Yin Huang stared at Lai Wuyang in the image with a trace of envy in his eyes. As the battle between both sides escalated, they finally began to reveal their trump cards. Lai Wuyang can't hold on anymore. She's going to use her protective talisman. Yin Huang looked at it for a moment, and his face suddenly revealed a look of surprise. The strategy of driving the wolf to devour the tiger had taken effect. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying pressure suddenly erupted from the volcanic island. Even if they were 100 kilometers apart, Xing Hui and Yin Huang both felt it. In the sky observation mirror, the Golden Crow Sect's Dharma King, Lai Ji's silhouette suddenly appeared. The Dharma King let out a furious roar, and the sound waves dispersed, causing ripples to appear on the surface of the sky observation mirror. Then, as he cast his secret technique, A blazing sun seemed to appear in his palm, bursting with endless radiance. The scorching sun formed in a second, and then smashed towards Xianming Island with a destructive power. The power that erupted in an instant allowed Tsing Hui and Yin Huang to clearly see the energy torrent that exploded. As expected, Xianming Island was prepared. That's the myriad transformations' mysterious ice, Yin Huang exclaimed. At the same time that the scorching sun smashed towards Xianming Island with a destructive power, a transparent, mysterious ice suddenly appeared in front of Xianming Island and wrapped around him. Myriad transformations, mysterious ice? The 10,000 transformations profound ice is a special kind of ice-type treasure. It needs to settle at the bottom of the sea for more than 10 years before it can be formed. Only a special kind of underwater creature, the profound ice fish, can eat it. This kind of profound ice has an extremely obvious restraining effect on fire-type techniques. It is because of this treasure that Island Master Xianming dared to have designs on Lai Wuyang, even though he knew she had a protective talisman on her. Yin Huang quickly explained. As the two of them talked for a short time, the rolling heat wave gradually dissipated. Although Xianming Island looked a little embarrassed, he had withstood the power of the protective talisman. He seemed to be aware that he had used up Lai Wuyang's final trump card. Xianming Island, who was confident of victory, couldn't help but laugh wantonly. Even if they couldn't hear his voice, Tsing Hui and Yin Huang could feel the carefree feeling in Xianming Island's heart. Lai Wuyang is finished. Although she has cultivated the divine true qi and has cultivated it to perfection, compared to an overlord of the four realms of longevity, the gap is still too big. Yin Huang said with some regret. Lai Wuyang, she could definitely be called one of the top geniuses of the Jin Wu religion. As long as this kind of person didn't fall, she could even compete for the throne of the Jin Wu religion's leader in the future. Finished? That's not necessarily true. Look carefully. There's no fear on Lai Wuyang's face. Tsing Hui said. Huh. After he said that, Yin Huang also suddenly realized this point. At this time, the situation in the sky observation mirror suddenly changed. Lai Wuyang suddenly took out an item, and it exploded again, forming a bright sun that was countless times more blazing than before. It was so strong that it could blind people's eyes instantly bloomed, causing the sky observation mirror to become white. At the same time, Tsing Hui and Yin Huang looked up. On the volcanic island that was close to 100 kilometers away, there seemed to be a sun rising slowly. Endless light filled the sky. Even if they were close to 100 kilometers away, the two of them could still see it clearly. Yin Huang opened his mouth and looked at the dazzling light. He felt his whole body turn cold. The eternal blazing sun. Lai Ji actually gave his daughter an eternal blazing sun. That's the most important strategic treasure of the Jin Wu religion. Qing Su stared at the resplendent light, and there was also a sliver of shock in his eyes. It contained an explosive force that was almost comparable to a small tactical nuclear bomb on Earth. What exactly is the eternal blazing sun? Tsing Hui's face turned slightly green. The Jin Wu religion is a strategic treasure. Young master, you should have heard someone mention that the Golden Crow sect doesn't have a Saint Realm expert. The reason this sect can still be one of the 10 great sects without a Saint Realm expert is mainly because of the existence of the eternal blazing sun. It's a powerful one-time use treasure created by someone who cultivates the Great Sun Golden Crow technique by simulating the internal energy fission of the sun. Simulating the internal energy fission of the sun. How many eternal blazing suns are there in the Jin Wu religion? That eternal blazing sun just now should be a semi-finished product. Otherwise, its power would be more than that. At the same time, it wouldn't have been given to Lai Wuyang. After all, even the Guardian King doesn't have the right to use such a strategic item. The real eternal blazing sun's power is not inferior to the full strength attack of an immortal level expert. You have to know that there's not much difference between an immortal level expert and a saint in terms of attack. It's just a difference in the duration. In other words, an eternal blazing sun's power is not inferior to a saint's attack. As for the number, after countless years of accumulation, no one knows how many eternal blazing suns there are in the Jinwu religion. Xing Hui was silent for a moment and looked in the direction of the volcanic island. Then Island Master Xianming, he's dead. That semi-finished, eternal blazing sun's power is not inferior to the attack of an immortal-level expert. Even if Island Master Xianming has a piece of myriad mysterious ice, he'll still die. Yan Huang's words were firm. Xing Hui didn't say anything else and focused on looking at the sky observation mirror. However, there was no need to look at the sky observation mirror anymore. Not long after, he saw 3 spirit refining cultivators from Xianming Island escaping from the direction of Volcano Island. Behind them, Lai Ping was riding a beast and chasing after them at full speed. Once Lai Ping, a peak spirit refining cultivator, catches up to the 3 of them, only death awaits them. At this time, the dazzling light on the sky observation mirror gradually dissipated, revealing the scene on the volcanic island. The entire volcanic island seemed to have been swept by a destructive force and turned into a mess. Countless boulders filled the surface of the island, and a huge crater with a radius of nearly a kilometer appeared on the island. On one side of the island, the formation on Lai Wuyong's warship seemed to have been completely destroyed by the explosion of the eternal blazing sunday. Even the warship itself looked somewhat damaged. Many awakening cultivators on the warship had fallen under the energy shock wave. Even Lai Wuyong, who had summoned the eternal blazing sun, was injured and was sitting cross-legged on the deck to recuperate. Although Lai Wuyong has awakened the Golden Crow's bloodline, and her chi has a strong effect against the eternal blazing sun, she was too close to Island Master Xianming just now. She must have been attacked by the eternal blazing sun's power. If we want to kill her, this is the best opportunity. Yan Huang looked at Lai Wuyong, who was recuperating and couldn't help but light up. Who can guarantee that she doesn't have a second eternal blazing sun? Impossible. A strategic resource like the eternal blazing sun can only be used by the sect master and grand elder. Although Lai Wuyong's father, Lai Ji, is a law king, having a semi-finished eternal blazing sun is already his limit. If he dares to have more, the higher-ups of the Jinwu religion won't let him off. Xing Hui saw that Yan Huang was making a solemn vow and nodded. All right, but before we kill Lai Wuyong, we have to kill Lai Ping first. Otherwise, if Lai Wuyong still has the strength to fight and joins forces with this cultivator who has reached the peak of the spirit rank, the 2 of us might not be able to gain the upper hand. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.